back with another blowout win at home last night. 126-94 over the LA Clippers at TD Garden. Kristaps Porzingis also started. He scored 16 points in 23 minutes in his first game of the season for Joe Mazzulla.
Yeah, I thought he played well. Just be able to get back to some of our defensive versatility. Obviously, a little bit of rim protection, a little bit more physicality on the ball because it was back there, and so I thought he brought that offensively. Just really helped our spacing. So it's good to get him back.
The Celtics have now won 6 in a row. They're 15-3, and they're off until Friday night when they visit Chicago for their final game of pool play at the NBA Cup. The Bruins had last night off, but they'll be back at work this evening at home against Vancouver. Ryan Johnston and Bob Beers have the pregame at 6:30 and the face-off at 7 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. The Patriots will be back at practice tomorrow. They'll play Indianapolis and Foxborough on Sunday in their final game before a much-needed bye week. Yesterday, the NFL reinstated team captain Jabril Peppers from the commissioner's exempt list. He is now eligible to both practice this week and play this weekend. Last night, Baltimore held off the LA Chargers 30-23, and after a new stadium deal fell through earlier this week, local officials in Tampa have given the Rays until Sunday to state their intentions about their future in the area. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Catches Law. Injured and can't work? Turn to Catches Law, the official law firm of the New England Patriots, to tackle your needs with local attorneys who live and serve here in New England. Let Catches fight for you. Go to catcheslaw.com to book your free consultation. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 6:30.
You want to talk sports? We want to talk sports.
Squeeze the chicken and open the mouth.
It's like we were meant for each other.
This is why you need us.
98.5 The Sports Hub.
Fred, hello.
97.1 The River.
Hello.
It's really crazy out there. The holidays, everybody's shopping.
Hello. Hello.
97.1 The River. It's really crazy out there. The holidays, everybody's shopping. Make sure you got a seatbelt on. It's a
98.5 The Hub.
River.
Mornings on the River.
Cocaine and hookers. Yes. Na, 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 na.
El John Fantastic.
Sweet bitch.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning. We are Dutcher and Hardy, Town Fair Tire Studios. You can call us at 617-779-0985. It's a very exciting time. We are brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel.
Now, if you're going to go out to those madhouse malls, everybody, wear your seatbelt and calm down. We got plenty of things on sale. This is Money in the Mornings, Eddie Money right here. Where else, baby? 97.1 The River, Atlanta's classic.
Santa knows if you've been naughty or nice.
That's
right, yeah.
That's the actual audio.
That's the actual audio.
Oh, good.
Yeah, this is Eddie Money. It's going to be nutty out there.
Hardy, you should have a ton to choose from now, too. We've been...
Hey, this is the Money Man. Anybody want to tell everybody happy Thanksgiving? It's one of my favorite holidays. Everybody have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Christmas is right around the corner. Gotta love that. We got it right here. 97.1 The River.
That's a good break.
Christmas is right around the corner. Good luck surviving.
Gobble, gobble, gobble. This is the Money Man.
Gobble, gobble, gobble. How long do I have to wear this? How long do you have to stuff me before I get my $5? Yeah, I get it. Yeah. Oh, boy. That was the best. When Crash sent us the audio of Eddie Money, the Eddie Money show, they'd paid Eddie Money to voice track mornings, and Eddie Money put the effort into saying, you know, it's Christmas time. The malls are really nutty. as is my stool this time of year, because this is when I start stealing chestnuts.
It's a nutty time of the year, but hey,
It's a nutty by the time of the year, but, hey. It's a nutty time of the year, but fear not, hey. You gonna eat that hay? Farmer, you gonna eat that hay?
gobble, gobble, gobble. This is the money man.
I remember when I was in prison, my roommate smoked sativa and thought I was a turkey. Gobble, gobble, gobble. He was chasing me around with a knife and fork. I'm not a turkey. Oh, boy. I just love the Eddie Money Man. Oh, the Money Man. So
how long has he been gone?
He passed away in 2019.
Oh,
5 years already.
But I got to talk to him before he died.
And he matched up exactly with what you thought he was going to sound like.
Yeah,
I remember that. He was talking about a bunch of stuff.
He's like, who's that colored fella? Dave Roberts?
No, the Asian American guy.
Oh, yeah, the Asian American
guy who manages the Dodgers.
Who's that Asian guy?
That was great. He was like having a hairdresser at his house for Thanksgiving or something. It was a big story.
Yeah, he had that reality show that took the world by storm, though. They said, let's get the Osbournes and have that be a big sensation, and then let's find the biggest loser that we can.
Didn't he have his like adult kids living at home, and one of them was like just lifting weights in the living room? That was the dude's deal. Like,
yeah, I think that we explored it once on the air, and then it was like kind of no point to it, but because it was so obviously scripted, and he wasn't eating shoes or anything like that. He wasn't being a hobo, so there was really no point to it.
Wear your seatbelt.
Wear your seatbelt. Don't put it around your neck.
I could be lying. Traffic looks really great out there today, gang.
I could be lying, but polygraphs aren't admissible. Tee-hee.
Traffic sucks. I don't. Neither do you. Get you to work on time. Here's the traffic.
Oh, no.
Yep.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, everybody, wear your seatbelt, because I'm not going to be wearing one, and I might choose to kill myself by driving into your car. Hey, do you think it hurts to go through the windshield, or you die immediately?
Gobble, gobble, gobble.
Gobble, gobble, gobble. Gobble, gobble, gobble. I killed something. I think it was a turkey.
Wear your seatbelt.
It's confusing because turkeys have two legs, too, like people. So I don't know if it was a real small dude or a turkey. Gobble, gobble.
It's a nutty time of the year, but hey.
I won't say anything to offend anybody.
It's a nutty time of the year, you know. Everyone's all depressed. It's a nutty time of the year. You know, you realize that no one loves you. It's a nutty time of the year. I'll tell you what. It's
More people kill themselves than don't.
Gobble, gobble, gobble. This is the money man.
Gobble, gobble, gobble. It's cold by the train tracks. If you're hopping trains, just know the police are still out on the holidays. Thanksgiving.
Hey, Paula, don't bum us out.
Don't bum me out. You know, you get on the wrong train with the wrong guy, and he might turn you out. Gobble, gobble, gobble. Gobble, gobble, gobble. Hardy, this is your last day until after Thanksgiving. We won't see you again until after Thanksgiving. It's very moving.
Yeah. Well, let's make the most of it here this morning. We're going to have Andrew Callahan with us. We're going to... we got stuff.
Where are you going, Jonathan?
I have family coming to town. My mother-in-law and my niece and a couple other people are coming to town.
Oh, your parents have really bagged out at seeing you, huh?
Yep.
Yeah.
They have no interest.
Yeah, your mother-in-law is just taking...
Jeez.
Are they all staying with you?
My mother-in-law and my niece are staying with me. Other people are staying in hotels.
Nice.
Yes. We are
Wait, so
hosting.
your niece is staying with you, but her parents aren't staying with you?
Her parents are somewhere else.
Oh, okay.
They have like...
that's fine. You don't have to explain.
They're not going to...
They're civilians.
Yes.
I do not need to explain to me. All right, so you'll have the niece and the mother-in-law, and you get along with the mother-in-law, I take it, because you probably don't say much.
No, I get along with it really well.
Yeah. I would assume that there's not a whole lot of talking.
There's plenty of talking.
Don't you see Wallach just kind of letting things happen, vibing out? I don't see you as much of a rabble-rouser at home.
What? What do you mean by rabble-rouser?
I just think that you don't complain a lot. That you're probably okay. It's actually a compliment. You're probably pretty okay with everything that goes on there.
Yeah. Well, again, at this time of year, as both of you know, I am not in control of my house. There are lights everywhere. There's Christmas stuff everywhere. My wife's side of the family is very, very, very into Christmas. So this is one of those times from, say, November 1st through Martin Luther King Day where I have no control over what happens in my house.
Isn't that the goal, though, just to be left alone? I mean, on Thanksgiving, I'll help out, wherever I'm needed.
Oh, yeah.
I'll do stuff. But
Thanksgiving, there are roles that we all play. Like for instance, my wife is cooking for Thanksgiving. She and her
Damn
mom
right
are
she
cooking.
is.
And
get in the kitchen and stay there.
essentially, that's what's happening. And then the boys and I will clean up afterwards. But we know we're not needed. We're not wanted. We can do pretty much whatever we want during the day. Watch as much football as we want. Go
That's
wherever we
nice.
want. But afterwards, we spend an hour, 90 minutes cleaning.
Do you do any Thanksgiving Day football? Like high school games?
No, I do not. You?
No.
Did they do that in Michigan?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think they did that in Michigan, right?
I don't remember it when I was a kid.
And what's weird is, I think the playoffs are over except for the state championships. So there's teams that haven't played in a long time that play on Thanksgiving. And then everyone's going to be going, no kidding, but, what do I don't pay attention to? My kids don't play high school football. So, and it's not like where I live is a powerhouse. Newton South is a football powerhouse. After all, they didn't teach them to tackle until after the first game, which was a bit of an issue for all the kids who hadn't played football before. I've heard that there's been a bit of people falling out of the sport.
A bit of turnover on the roster.
Yeah, what I would do is shore up that freshman and JV team situation, or you're not going to have a pipeline going into your varsity program. I don't doubt the varsity coach is a very good coach.
Yeah,
but I would rethink how you're developing talent over there.
It just changed here in Massachusetts within the last 10 years. There used to be no playoffs back when I was a kid, and it was like this rating system to determine Super Bowls. There wasn't like a bracket system. Now they have the bracket system, and teams play, I think, 7 or 8 regular season games, and then it's the round of 16 and in.
Okay, in Detroit, I think I remember the state championship games were on Thanksgiving. Is when the state championship games were. There weren't rivalry games. I'm almost positive the state championship games were on Thanksgiving.
I got the email last week about the tickets for the Thanksgiving Day game, and I'm like, oh, thank goodness I'm not compelled to go to that. I mean, kids playing in it. My daughter has the Powder Puff game tomorrow afternoon. Now that I'll attend.
Now the Powder Puff game. Do the boys still dress up as cheerleaders and the girls as the football players?
Apparently, the boys at my daughter's high school won't do it.
Really?
I'm surprised they let you do that anymore. Interesting. But I do recall when I was a senior and they did the Powder Puff game, I wanted nothing. I did not want to participate in it because it felt like something corny.
Now I think
I was 18. I was about to turn 18. I was a little more shrewd than I was in my younger days. I figured that this doesn't seem like a blast.
Yeah. And the boys still coached the girls, and they've had practices for the last couple of weeks, to get ready for it, and they're coaching them. But I think they are passing on the dressing up as cheerleaders and going out there and rooting them on.
Who is Canton's big rival on Thanksgiving?
The Stoughton.
Stoughton. Okay. We have.
I think
we have Framingham.
That's. I would assume that. I only know what the Powder Puff team is doing. So I'm just going to go ahead and assume that they're playing Stoughton on Thanksgiving, but I don't know because I've never been and I don't plan on. I was with a buddy of mine yesterday who is very much involved in all things Canton and the high school and all that stuff. And I said, "Are you going to the game?" He's like, no. And he could walk there. He's like, no, I'm not going there.
Well, I just bought tickets to the Lions game, and so don't listen.
You've been planning this trip for months.
Really?
Fred.
You don't buy tickets until for sporting events. I'm surprised I bought them today. I should have bought them tomorrow or the next day because
prices drop.
The prices drop. But I'll tell you this:
Can you get Lions tickets on the day of the game for this particular game?
I mean, it's a secondary market tickets, John. I mean, the game's been sold out, since this last summer.
What'd you spend on them tickets, Fred?
I'll tell you what I'll tell you that the fee for the tickets was as much as half the price of the tickets, if that makes any sense. So say all 3 tickets were $1,000 total.
Yeah.
The fee was $500.
Oh, my God.
From the secondary market.
That's how they get you.
Well, yeah, a 50% markup after you've already paid more than the ticket costs. But, like, for instance, I waited until today to buy Red Wings tickets for tomorrow night, and I got in for $50 a piece. And if I would have gone in, concerts. Here's what Eddie Trunk says.
Yeah.
So back off, and stay away. Just let me say this because it's golden rule.
Let you be the vessel for Eddie Trunk.
Of course,
yes.
I mean that goes without saying.
I mean, I wouldn't shut up. I wouldn't shut up for you, but I'll shut up for Eddie Trunk.
I would never ask you to do so. This is just Eddie's words coming from my mouth.
Yes.
I'm a conduit for which I'm a cipher. All right, so here we go. So Eddie Trunk says, concerts week before, sporting events 24 hours to right before kickoff.
Oh, okay.
My problem is though I think on the secondary market that you can't always get tickets right before the game because like what I'm talking about, like right before the game because of whatever reason. So I just wanted to make sure I had some. But we're in the upper deck, which at Ford Field, of course, doesn't matter. In fact, I'd actually prefer it up there. But I guarantee you my son complains. And maybe my daughter will complain even though she doesn't want to go at all. So that will be a good thing, too.
I just thought of this, and I only found out a couple of days ago because it only happened within the last week. One of Marcy's friends took their girls to see Taylor Swift in Toronto, right? Big, family trip. We're going to go. We're going to go to the show, and showed up at wherever she was playing, Rodgers Center, I'm guessing. Show up at Rodgers Center hours before the show. Let's go in. Go to scan the tickets. Beep. Sorry, these no good. Like, what? They bought them through, like, the verified reseller of whatever ticket agent they used. I mean, it wasn't something they bought on the street. Beep. Scan. Oh, these tickets have already been scanned. The people are already inside and in those seats. These tickets are already accounted for. Apparently, whatever agent or system sold the tickets sold them twice.
Yeah, that was happening at Taylor Swift shows. Boy, oh boy.
So that it's, I mean, you want to talk about a meltdown, freak out. People.
Yeah, I'm sure that didn't go over well.
It did not go over well, so they had to and I guess the people in Toronto, because they're Canadian, were actually helpful and helped them contact the ticket agent and all that stuff. They found them other tickets, not as good as the ones they had purchased, and apparently no difference in money or something, but at least they got into the show. But it was touch and go there for what sounded like an uncomfortable amount of time. Boy. When they found out, no, these tickets are no good. They're already in there. Sorry, can't get in. You don't have tickets.
All right. Well, listen, we have a big show today, as Hardy said. Andrew Callahan. We have Mike Lombardi acting like an a-hole. Jim Montgomery got introduced yesterday, and his team won. And Paul Moore stuff from Paul Finebaum. It will be very exciting. The day before.
Somebody else returned to action last night, Fred.
Oh, yeah.
That was very exciting.
Sure was. All right. We'll have all that for you in just a moment. ever had to knock on wood. But I never had it yet.
Oh, you said you didn't want to hear more music in the morning. Okay. Here's more Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Did you catch the game last night?
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy. Hardy, what happened last evening?
Celtics taking on the Clippers, and guess who was back on the court at TD Garden?
Tatum. Down behind the back bounce pass again. Porzingis again. The three is good. Welcome home. So Porzingis lit up the crowd in game one of the finals when he came back.
So this is, I think, kind of commonplace for the Celtics, where there's not a lot of discussion about a player's return other than just generalities. Hey, he's working every day, and and then all of a sudden, boom, he's available tonight, and he's out there playing. I mean, that's. Yeah. I think that happened once with Porzingis, and it's happened with other players too, where you just don't know about their availability other than, yeah, they've been at practice and they're doing stuff, but we don't really know.
Well, you take the other team by surprise.
Yeah.
That's right. They're completely blindsided. We had no idea this man was actually on the roster. Who is this 7'3" unicorn we see?
Yeah. You got no time to prepare.
My God,
that's what's
he's on the
exciting about
team.
it.
I had no idea.
Did you know Porzingis was going to play last night before yesterday?
No.
Afternoon. Okay.
No.
That's all
But ultimately, we've had
Randy
Chris
called me and told me.
We've had. Oh yeah. We had Chris Forsberg here saying he was going through drills. He looks good. The general consensus was he was close. But he was going to arrive before the expectation of the end of next month. Not this early, but we all had pretty much an idea. You, me, everyone had an idea that it was going to happen soon.
Yeah. Well, he looked pretty good.
I've been praying.
He looked very good.
Pritchard, hustle play to save it. Derek White tiptoes the baseline. Good work by Pritchard on White. Pritchard, tricky dribble. Gets to his left, attacks, lobs from Porzingis for the two-hand slam. A signature moment on KP's return. Whew.
What a play that was by Pritchard. Made the steal. White came in, helped him out.
Peyton Pritchard, who, Fred, I don't want to say you were, dismissing the last time we brought him up, but he had another very good game last night. Now, this was a lopsided affair for most of the night, but
hence his minutes.
30 minutes, he tied Jason Tatum for the top scorer of the night. At one point, I think he had 20 points in his first 18 minutes or something ridiculous like that. So Peyton Pritchard.
Yeah, Peyton Pritchard is an NBA player. There's no question about it.
He is one of the favorites at this point in the season for sixth man of the year because he's scoring at a rate he wasn't scoring at last year. He's making more of an impact. That might change as the season moves along, but he has been very, very good these first 20 games.
I mean, he's on a very, very good team, and he's a first-round pick. He's a kid that played at a big-time university. All those things are true. And I'm not arguing any of those things. It's just sometimes people get a little out of hand because he's a little white guy, and then they start talking crazy. And all I got to say is put Peyton Pritchard on, like, Charlotte or put Peyton Pritchard on Toronto and see where Peyton Pritchard – and have him start and see how those teams do.
Well, he's in the running for sixth man of the year right now, only because this guy hasn't gotten a lot of minutes yet.
Springer drives, pump fake in the paint, going to kick back out. Walsh has a pretty good look at it. It's a three, and it's good. Can the Celtics ever get the 30-point lead? It's back to 29 again with 3:14 to go.
All right, in the game. 3:14 to go in the game, Hardy.
It might be the first time I've seen him shoot.
You know what would be fun is if 90210 got back together and Jordan showed up and he was just part of the clan.
Yeah, he would
not
replace,
the Ku Klux Klan.
No, he would
the
replace
Walsh clan.
Luke Perry, who is no longer with us. So.
No, he would be almost like a Tiffany Amber Thiessen type, like a relative that came in from. So Jordan Walsh, it would be Brandon and Brandon and Brenda, and then Jordan. And they would go like, "You have an African American sibling," and then the father would have to explain that he had impregnated a woman while in Minnesota.
A
That's
very
why
special
they moved.
holiday episode.
Let me finish.
Okay.
Because it's coming to me quick.
Okay, go.
Mr. Walsh admits that they moved to Beverly Hills because there was a scandalous unintended pregnancy of an African-American woman in Minnesota. They move. Now here it is years later. The adult son, Jordan Walsh, comes back. Boom. And then Steve, wrecks his Corvette. And that's the episode.
Tiffany Amber Thiessen sat behind me once at a Kings Red Wings game in
Really?
LA. Yes.
Was she like insanely hot?
Insanely hot.
And this was adult Tiffany Amber Thiessen when she had her boob implants and everything.
Yeah, this is probably 1999.
Oh, that's good stuff
2000,
right there.
right around there.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
She announced her presence with authority on 90210.
When she showed up on 90210, because she was like whatever on Saved by the Bell. She looked like a girl. Like she's older than me. She looked like a girl, and then when she showed up on 90210, you went, "Oh Jesus!"
Well, there was a scene, like one of the first scenes she was ever in, where she arrives in the bathroom between the bedrooms where Brandon and Brenda used to. She was sleeping in Brenda's room, and she walks into Brandon's room with like nothing on. And you're like, oh my, that's not Kelly Kapowski.
That's a
little different.
When Kari Wuhrer, who I did, abuse myself to as a child when she was on remote control, but when she showed up on 90210 and she had all that plastic surgery, you were just like, oh. And then Steve lost his David lost his virginity to her. Boy, was she hot too. 90210, when they would get those because Kari Wuhrer was an adult when she was on remote control, but when they got them, in their prime. Prime years, and they had the plastic surgery, you went hachi machi, especially since the girls on 90210 were strangely not very attractive. As a foursome, I say Brenda's the best looking, but Kelly, for like a femme fatale, was certainly not that great looking. And Donna's ugly, and the other one's old. She was as old as me now when she was on 90210, and I can't. So much so that I can't even remember her character.
Andrea Zuckerman?
Andrea Zuckerman,
Yeah.
thank you. She really didn't have a point. But they let her
you needed
stay.
a goody two-shoes in the group. You needed one.
Yeah, but she got pregnant.
Yes, she did.
I mean, before anyone else. But you have to admit that the 90210 girls were not like, for a show like that, like Baywatchy attractive,
No, but I was always a Jenny Garth guy, so I think you're wrong about that. I think you're right about the other three, though.
I don't think she had a big butt. Explain.
No, she did not. That's a
Well,
good
then
point.
explain.
I can't. The heart wants what it wants.
Given
Fred.
your proclivities.
I know.
Yeah, given that you judge women, you only look at them as a series of butt cheeks.
You see, here's the problem. I kind of evolved into that.
I knew it. You just you're like a
It wasn't
you're like
always
Forrest Gump.
that way. It wasn't
You're
always
a feather
that
in the
way.
wind.
That's right. It wasn't always that way. I've come to like these things as I've gotten older, And Jenny Garth, that was the type of woman I liked back then. Now I like a different type of woman now.
So
we all change as we get older, Fred.
So I was reading this Velvet Underground book, and it got real into Warhol, and then that Edie Sedgwick was the for 1 year was the it girl for Andy Warhol. So now I was reading this book about her. And it's different people talking about Edie Sedgwick, and they're raving about, and this is the 60s, they're raving about how boyish she was. And so, and then they talk about Twiggy and stuff. If you've ever seen the Blues Brothers, she shows up at the gas station. But she was the big supermodel. So the look in the 60s that people were very into was boyish, like very small breasts, like stick thin, like that's what they were into. And it's just funny how like, and then people like go with that, and then it was like Baywatchy or Babe Watch if you like pornography, Baywatchy in the 90s, and now it's just become Rump Central, and that's not going to so before you get that Brazilian butt lift, think twice because you don't know in 5 years if this thing's going to go back. There's certain things that always are what they are that men are always going to like.
Oh. Edie Sedgwick is first cousins with Kira Sedgwick.
Yeah, they're from a very, very strange Sedgwick family.
Interesting.
Like a blue blood Sedgwick family that were allegations of molestation, lots of suicides, lots of stuff going on there.
Oh, boy.
I'll give you Edie when it's done. George Plimpton edited it, so don't worry about it.
Edie died in 1971 from a barbiturate overdose. What is a barbiturate exactly?
It's when the barber slits your neck when they're shaving you.
It's one of those terms I hear that stay away from barbiturates. I would if I knew what they were.
You really don't know what a barbiturate is?
No.
Oh, they're like a Xanax or a Valium. They're like a downer, basically.
Oh, what's wrong with that?
You take too many, heart stop.
Oh, like Edie Sedgwick.
Yeah, she had a lot of problems.
Right.
She was doing a lot of drugs. But she had a boyish figure that everyone seemed to love.
Hell yeah. All right, let's find out how...
That's not...
Yes.
Maybe you... But she's a little too glamorous.
Yeah, I didn't like her hanging out with Warhol and that sect, but otherwise.
Yeah.
Right on. Porzingis, how'd you feel last night?
Honestly, I felt better than I expected. Obviously, the first wind is pretty crazy, lungs burning, legs burning, everything. But after that, it was decent. The normal, even on the couple of lobs, like JB threw me the lob, Peyton threw me the lob. Like, both of them, I had, flat tire, crazy. Didn't get up at all. But, yeah, it was good to be back out there.
Didn't get up at all. Guy. You're 7'3". How far do you have to get up? Didn't get up at all. You raise your hands. It's a dunk.
Well, but on an alley-oop, it's not.
How high does he really have to jump on those?
As high as they throw the ball, John.
Okay.
To cruise and swing successfully, you got to get up there.
That's right. He did obviously have an impact last night for Joe Mazzulla.
Yeah, I thought he played well. Just to be able to get back to some of our defensive versatility. Obviously, a little bit of rim protection, a little bit more physicality on the ball because it was back there, and so I thought he brought that offensively. Just really helped our spacing. So it's good to get him back.
Yeah.
When did the Clippers start sucking so bad? Why is there no one on their team?
Yeah.
Well, Kawhi Leonard is never available. That also hurts.
Yeah.
And he hasn't been available for 3-4 years? I mean, they were good. When was that birthday that you had with the Mexican?
Oh, please don't refer to people that way. No, my 40th birthday party.
So 8-9 years ago? They were really good when Doc was there, and it's been a slow fade since then.
Let me tell you about, because they're kind of an afterthought team. You want an afterthought player? When James Harden popped up on my screen last night, I'm like, oh, yeah, I forgot about that guy.
That's right. He's there.
That's right. He's on the Clippers. I knew
Still
that.
doing the same stuff. Still dribbling for about 20 seconds before he fires up a three.
Not a ton of defense.
No. It was actually fun.
I wouldn't pay that guy $1.
No, but somehow he still finds jobs.
Yeah.
So, Philadelphia wasted their time on him.
I think he's one of those guys, and I kind of get it now with Kyrie Irving more so than I did when he was in Boston, like how other players gravitate toward him. But I think James Harden might be a player that has that Kyrie thing where he's got a lot of players who like him despite some of the personality traits.
That he quits on just about every team he plays on?
But he seems to have guys who are in his corner around the league.
That he has an unhealthy appetite for strippers. I'll tell you, I'd like him too. If he convinced the owner of the team to let him take days off and take the team jet to go out to Vegas so he can hang out at strip clubs, which I don't have a problem with. It just is funny to me that he just loves strip clubs. Like, he could have his own strip club in his house. He could get as many women as he wanted to dance around naked for him all the time.
Yeah.
But he loves being in the four walls of a brick and mortar strip establishment. Go ahead.
But when Mike D'Antoni finally left Houston and Harden saw the writing on the wall that things are going to change, and they hired this poor guy, and the new head coach started training camp, and Harden wasn't there, and they asked where Harden was. He was at Magic City in Atlanta. That's where he was. He just decided, nope, I'm not going to camp with the new head coach. I'm just going to hang out here until they trade me.
You know how some guys will go on golf trips and stuff like that. He just loves hanging out at strip clubs for hours and hours and hours. Which everyone likes strip clubs. They're nice, but the owner,
good food.
The owner of when he was on, was it the Clippers before or was it Houston? One of the two teams. The owner would give him the jet and whatever with that, but he would give him the jet and let him take days off that the team didn't have.
I think that was Houston.
And let him fly to cities without the team. The team would fly to Memphis, on a Tuesday, and he would take the jet and go to Vegas and hang out at strip clubs, and then he'd fly in on Wednesday for the game. The owner let him do it. So I would like him too if I was on the team. If you just ran things like that,
Yeah.
I would want to see what was doing.
But I also get not wanting to get a bunch of strippers and stuff over to your house and rather being in a club, even though you could afford to do it. You don't want to soil the sanctity of your home, Fred. You can do things and behave a certain way outside of your home, but when you come home, that's your sanctuary.
You can only smudge so many times, or what is it, smudge?
Smudging, yeah.
Yeah, that was a Kyrie thing. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's what I've been smudged.
How'd that work?
Oh, I never felt better. It felt like $100. All right, when we come back, Hardy, what will we talk about?
There was a football game last night between, I don't know if you heard about this aspect of it, but there were two brothers on opposing sidelines, which has not been mentioned. I can't believe nobody brought up the Harbaugh aspect of last night's game.
Yeah, they're brothers. We will be one great athlete, one not. One wears spectacles, so he lost in that degree, but John doesn't wear spectacles, so it's a God giveth, God taketh away.
But our John does wear spectacles.
He does, but I'm surprised he hasn't had LASIK surgery, given that he fixed that big old gap between his teeth and that tumor in his ear.
Couldn't they do the LASIK while they were getting the tumor out of your head?
Yeah, you might want to turn that mic on next time.
That's right. We are in that business. No.
All right.
No, I was unable to. They did offer it. It was a little too expensive, the twofer.
Right.
You know, they while you were asleep, while you're knocked out. I mean, the surgery's 9 hours. Why don't we just do a couple of things while you're on the table?
They did go nuts in terms of colonoscopies, though. Go ahead.
My dad did get his LASIK surgery done in Windsor on a 2-for-1 coupon.
Yeah,
Really?
why not?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
only your vision. Why not?
That's right.
Why not take it? All right, we'll be right back. coming in. Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. What's going on, Hardy?
There was a football game last night as the brothers Harbaugh faced off against each other in Los Angeles. The Ravens, visiting the San Diego Superchargers of Los Angeles, held a slim lead at halftime. The visitors did. And then increased their lead in the second half.
Lamar takes a snap, blitz pressure coming. Jackson fires, end zone. Touchdown, Mark Andrews.
Oh, and that's how that ends.
Is that the one they called not a touchdown, and then they went back and they said it was a touchdown? I don't know if you guys were watching the game.
I was not watching that late. That made it
Okay.
23-16.
Mark Andrews caught a pass in the back of the end zone. Caught a pass in the back of the end zone. Both his feet landed in the end zone, and his ass landed in the end zone. He maintained control without a shadow of a doubt throughout the whole process of the catch, and they called it not a touchdown. And then, so they say on TV it's not a touchdown, and they go, but that sure looked like one. and then the refs huddle up, and they called a touchdown, and they go on to kick the extra point immediately, as it was a touchdown. So what the deal is now is that if there's a fumble return for a touchdown, they always just allow it, so they can go back and review it.
Right.
And I would assume that you would call it a touchdown because it's automatically reviewed.
Right.
If there was any doubt.
Right.
So I don't know why they would call it not a touchdown, or how you didn't see that. The judge is back there, and he's standing right within his line of vision. And if you can't get that, I don't know what to tell you. It wasn't a toe tap, gentlemen, is what I'm telling you. Both feet were solidly in bounds, and then his ass hit the ground in bounds. It was really something, but go ahead. That's just me complaining.
Baltimore would extend their lead after that.
On 3rd and 3, they give us to Justice Hill, sweeping left side, crosses midfield, he's to the 40, Charger 30, leg race 20, Justice Hill 10, he's in, touchdown Ravens! Justice Hill goes 51 yards, and the Ravens extend their lead.
How close is the microphone to that guy's face?
Yeah, I know he's over-modulating like you wouldn't believe.
Is he swallowing that thing? What's going on?
Justice Hill, 4 carries for 55 yards, and you heard just there, one of them went for 51.
Yes.
So it's still the Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson show there for the most part.
Yeah.
But Derrick Henry, last night, 24 carries, 140 yards.
Yeah, and if you're a fan of football, just both those quarterbacks, they can both, I mean, obviously at different levels, but they can both move. Again, guys that can throw on the run, guys that can keep their eyes downfield while they're extending plays.
Yeah.
Just these, whatever. I can't watch any more football.
Oh, quarterbacks that can move and can do things.
Yeah.
Every single quarterback in the NFL except for one.
No, he was hurt. He was hurt worse than we all thought. This is what we found out yesterday. You know, when he's getting healthier. He's going to be fine.
Talking about Aaron Rodgers, and yet I still hear, there's some talk that he won't be brought back. Whoever signs Aaron Rodgers next year, it should just immediately be fired, and then not only that, be institutionalized. Mm-hmm. If I hear one more writer even be on the fence, remotely on the fence about the future of Aaron Rodgers' career, I would say watch Will Levis now. Will Levis is better than him. Go ahead.
All right. Since we're talking about Aaron Rodgers and the decision whether or not to bring him back, the people who are going to make the decision next year are still to be determined for the Jets.
Yes, Mike
and
Tannenbaum's
we found
on the
out,
case.
right, a guy that they hounded out of the decision-making process on this team is being brought in as a consultant to find their next guy.
Well, it's him and another guy that was Chicago's general manager. Whatever, it's better than just the owner picking him. I mean, I don't know. What do I know? At least it's not the owner making unilateral decisions. At least that's happening. And then what that tells me is that they're going to bring a president of football operations, then a GM, then a coach.
Which is as it should be. Yes.
Right. So if you're asking me to be overwhelmingly negative about that, I can't help you because there's
Just
enough to
seems
be
like-
negative about.
Just seems like an odd choice. That's all.
Sure, but what do we know? I mean, Tannenbaum's had a relatively successful media career. He was a pretty good GM when he was around, so why not him? What do I know?
Okay.
I mean, there's I got enough to worry about with that team without worrying about Tannenbaum being hired.
Right.
Tannenbaum's one of the golden, unfortunately, like the North Star of talent in the front office between Idzik and McCagnon and Joe Douglas.
All the people that have replaced him have been a lot worse. That's true.
Tannenbaum was 2 AFC championship games with that Tannenbaum. I mean, Tannenbaum put together a pretty good team. He drafted Sanchez, but all told, I would take it if they hired Tannenbaum again. I would if you told me they hired Mike Tannenbaum again, I wouldn't say that they were crazy.
Wow.
Why not?
Okay.
I mean, listen, he's no Elliott Wolf who got to Drake May.
Hey, jury's still out. Jury's still out.
He
on
got
Elliott
Drake
Wolf.
May.
He
I
did.
believe me again, and this goes back to the Patriots. Just be so happy that you have Drake May, who can move and keep his eyes downfield.
I just think you could do a lot worse than Aaron Rodgers. You know, he's a good locker room guy. He's a hell of a passer still. And, you know, if he ends up on the Jets again next year, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world for you.
He's not going to end up on the
He's tough, though. He didn't want any of his body parts being scanned because he didn't want the team to tell him he couldn't play.
Yep.
Because that's
It's a gamer right there.
No, it's a narcissist who just cares about himself above everything else, just like Cal Ripken. A narcissist. You don't think Cal Ripken would have had I know Cal Ripken had a great career, but you don't think his career would have been a little better if he would have taken a few days off in and out? You don't think the team could have done better if he wasn't feeling his best to let someone else come in and take a few reps at shortstop?
But it was a whole thing.
Yeah, I know, but I don't think it should have been a whole thing. I don't think that's like exemplary behavior. I think if you asked modern doctors and modern psychiatrists or in mental workers what the best thing for the team would be, and it would be not a guy playing 162 games a year.
That was 30 years ago, Fred. Thinking was different. Send him out there.
No, people didn't get hurt? Okay.
Send him out there.
Mental doctors. Okay, Snowflake. You gotta worry about how the guy feels about playing baseball.
No. In terms of that's actually not even what I was saying, but I do appreciate it because I am a snowflake. If I'm a snowflake, watch me melt. But no, I'm talking about like for like I guess for the performance of the player and performance of the backup and the performance of the team. I'd say in all three of those areas, mentally and physically, it's the best thing. Not for your feelings, to keep you sharp, to mentally rested, so you're not, 6 days a week, like having to pay attention to the rotation of balls, having to do the whole pre and post game workouts and warm ups. I mean, I'm making a pretty good case here, gents. So let's not go crazy with the Cal Ripken. A well-placed day off can do wonders. Isaac, listen to me.
Come in late. Don't over-prepare. Take all your days off.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And not come in late. You don't have to come in an hour and a half early, which is true, by the way.
Well, you don't have to, no.
Which one of you gets here at 4:30 in the morning? I'd like to know. All right. Thank you very much. Not even Baba Booey gets in at 4:30 in the morning.
Does he even go in anymore?
Well, you're not allowed in. You could get sick. All right. We'll be back. That's a Stern thing. That was a Stern thing.
Hi. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was a Howard Stern
I
thing.
misunderstood. I thought that was going in a different direction.
Baba Booey works for Howard Stern.
Yeah.
Howard Stern won't come into the
Hey
studio.
there.
Howard Stern won't come into the studio because of COVID. He was deathly afraid of COVID. He's essentially agoraphobic now. Don't gesture like that. That was a Howard Stern thing.
Okay. My mistake. then.
Okay, very good. I think the audience knew that was a Howard Stern thing. All right, but if they
Could
didn't,
you get
I just
Isaac a
explained.
job on the Howard Stern show?
If I say yes, he'll play it again and make fun of me for saying it like he did the last time.
I'm Isaac.
Hi, Isaac. You don't want to be with Howard Stern. He's 72. You want to be with me. I'm a spry
Say my
49.
name.
Hi, Isaac. I'm in talks of taking over the Howard Stern show.
Hey there.
All right, very good. We'll be back. As long as I get Sal and Richard, that would be the highlight.
Right.
So I can make fake prank calls. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
record with 12 made threes in the second quarter and scored a total of 51 points over those 12 minutes. They raced away to a 32-point win over the Clippers last night as well, 126-94 at TD Garden. The other big story of the evening was the debut of Kristaps Porzingis. He scored 16 points in his first game of the season.
Yeah, I felt great. Obviously, it was a pretty, not super long, but it was a long rehab. I was itching to get back out there with this team after winning a championship. Yeah, it was a good beginning. Good first game back.
Celtics have now won 6 in a row. They visit Chicago on Friday night. The Bruins play Vancouver at TD Garden tonight. Ryan Johnston and Bob Beers will have the pregame at 6:30 and the face-off at 7. You're on 98.5 The Sports Hub as the Bruins try for their season-high third straight win. The St. Louis Blues beat the Rangers at Madison Square Garden last night 5-2 in Jim Montgomery's debut as that team's new head coach. The NFL yesterday removed Patriots safety and team captain Jabril Peppers from the commissioner's exempt list. He's now eligible to practice and play in games. He's got a jury trial set for January 22nd where he'll face charges of strangulation and drug possession. The team will be back at practice tomorrow. They play Indianapolis and Foxborough on Sunday. And last night, Baltimore beat the LA Chargers 30-23. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by the Shaw's and Star Market Foundation. They've teamed with Trent Frederick for Feeding the Puck for Families to help fight food insecurity. Learn how they're assisting the Greater Boston Food Bank at 985thesportshub.com/feedthepuck. I'm John Wallach of Boston Hill for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7:30.
Get
There's the potential there for big stuff.
98.5 The Sports Hub app. Get the app.
What's the best way to listen to Toucher and Hardy?
Well, you're going to have to spend $40.
Cough it up, and let's get back to Toucher and Hardy on the...
You can watch us on YouTube. If you go to YouTube, subscribe to 98.5 The Sports Hub, then you'll be on our algorithm, and you'll get to see everything great that we do. All right, Hardy, it is Thanksgiving. This is Hardy's last day.
Gobble, gobble. This is the money man.
Gobble, gobble, gobble. This is the money man. Don't shoot. I'm a turkey. Don't shoot. I'm not breaking into your house.
Sit down and have a big old meal.
Sit down and have a big old meal, and I'll crawl through your bedroom window.
It is Thanksgiving.
I'm only going to steal your underwear.
It's a nutty time of the year, but hey.
Why would you do that, anybody?
I sold them to the neighbors.
Oh.
This is, I don't know if you've been watching the news, but...
Why don't you hang up your laundry to dry? No one's going to take it.
97 won the real.
I remember in 1982 tour, what I did with Kansas, I was running around in a house coat that I stole off some old lady's clothesline in Omaha, Nebraska. I had a blue house coat on during 3 gigs.
People thought it was my stage garb.
Yeah. I would walk around looking for cats asleep on windowsills. And they cannot eat them.
You'd eat the cat?
Yeah, they seem so. They love when the sun hit them. It would almost it would knock them out.
Why not find a nice pie cooling on a windowsill? That seems like it'd be a better meal.
Oh, that's too good for the money, man.
Sit down and have a big old meal.
I like something I can really hear scream.
Well, if you've been watching the news this week, you know that holiday travel is the biggest story there is.
Oh, yeah. Sure
I mean, there's nothing bigger than holiday travel.
Nothing.
Some people say today is worse than tomorrow.
Oh,
Hardy.
John, the best times to leave, best times to drive, best times to fly. Which brings us to the type of behaviors that Americans won't accept on airplanes. Thousands of people surveyed for this.
Oh, boy.
And you had to answer whether it was acceptable or unacceptable for certain things to take place on an airplane.
Hopefully this Jabril, who's the guy from, the guy that used to play for the Patriots that whipped it out and peed on a guy? Hopefully that changes things a little bit. You know, hopefully that thing gets things working in the right direction, and now maybe we don't hold people up to such a high standard.
I'm going to say unacceptable to urinate on the passenger sitting next to you. That is correct.
Oh, talk about a snowflake.
All right, let's get into these right now. Gentlemen, you have to guess what things were deemed most unacceptable by the people surveyed in terms of airplane behavior. Okay. Things that most people said, what is unacceptable to do on an airplane?
Can I go first, Fred?
You can go first, John.
Right.
Go ahead.
Taking your shoes off. Really? Taking your shoes off is...
Yes, shut up. Fool.
All right. Go barefoot. Going barefoot on a plane.
Yes, going barefoot on a plane. Put your feet in my lap, yes?
10 answers on the board here that did not make the top 10.
That's a sure shot.
What a moron.
Oh, boy.
Closing the door when one defecates.
I didn't even think that would be on there, but no, that is not on there.
No, sir. Leave it open. Let's all take a gander. Could you take a picture of what's in the bowl?
What really gets your goat on an airplane? John, I'm with you. Taking your shoes off should be unacceptable.
I have one, but it's completely unfair, and it actually doesn't bother me, which is babies crying.
I'm going to give you half credit for that one because it is the number one answer, letting their children play in the aisle. Any type of child behavior is under one umbrella there.
And that's why people are morons, because they think by flying a public airline that they are somehow, children aren't going to be on it. And I will always have sympathy for the parents having flown with children. Those days are over, but I've had, my own problems with flying with that. But I'll tell you that, like one time when Ma was really little, like real little, like he was completely flipping out, and there was these guys that were like saying like terrible stuff to passive aggressively to like other passengers while they stood in the aisle. That it was that a 1-year-old screaming was freaking him out so much. How can you not tune that out? Like there's nothing you can do about it. No one's doing anything on purpose. What bothers me is when I feel people are A, deliberately doing something, or B, are so self-involved that they don't even realize it. So that's what bothers me. And a child cannot do either of those things. So it's always been that way with me. I prefer there not be a baby crying. And now that there's a TV on every seat and you can put on headphones, what are you, so precious that you can't, put on headphones. You don't travel with headphones. They hand them out now on every flight. I don't like I don't like it when people get on people about babies crying. In fact, I had someone text me yesterday, and they said, I'm on a flight and baby's crying. And I said, I don't want to hear it. I said, I don't want to hear it.
That's what babies do on airplanes.
Yeah.
I mean,
and then don't travel with the baby. Well, shut the F up. What are you supposed to do? What if the baby's getting taken to a hospital to have a procedure that can only be done at that hospital? How do you feel now, stupid?
Jackass.
Why don't you make more money and fly private if you're such a hotshot?
All right, the most unacceptable things that other passengers do on an airplane. Go ahead, Fred. Actually, it's
I just did.
Is it my turn?
Yeah, it's your turn.
Yeah, just gave a long.
Well, that's the point of the game, dum-dum, is for me to go off on it. Everyone wants to know my feelings on planes.
Sure. Gobble, gobble, gobble. This is the money man.
Go ahead.
All right, let's Tiger, because John's going to say something dumb. Tiger, go ahead.
Oh. I would have to say farting on an airplane.
Oh, again, false. False.
I would say this has almost put me on the do not fly list several times.
Oh.
Have you ever, now seriously, Tiger, not to be gross, but have you ever farted on an airplane? Obviously, it did not make noise, but did you fart on an airplane and like it caused, like you could visibly see people becoming disgusted?
Yes.
Okay, describe.
I cannot tell a lie.
Okay, what? All right, so you're sitting on an airplane and are you by yourself? You're flying by yourself?
I very rarely fly by myself. It's either with my wife or with work companions, and I am constantly the one of blame.
Okay, so when you farted, was it your work companions that you could? Did they say something to you, or can you just tell?
Oh, they just know. I mean, some things you just can't step away from. No pun intended.
Is that?
I don't think you're allowed to do that. Actually, I actually don't think you're not allowed to do that.
Wallach has stood on the sidelines at soccer games with me, and I can usually reach the other side.
That's very true.
You know Tiger. Is he a big man?
He's yes.
He's a heavy gentleman.
Talk to me about
He's bigger than me. Yes.
Talk to me about your diet, Tiger. What are you eating specifically before flights?
Usually oatmeal. Like oatmeal is my go-to in the morning.
Okay.
No, we're doing the same thing. Overnight oats.
Overnight oats. Very good.
All right, go ahead, John. All right, farting was on it.
No, eating strong-smelling food was the closest thing to it, but I gave him the right answer anyway.
So right.
You sit next to someone who talks too much while you're flying.
It's not on the.
You're talking.
Don't you hate it when all you want to do is get some sleep and you have a stranger sit next to you and try and talk your ear off?
I would kill for someone to talk to me.
Okay.
No one wants to talk to me.
Okay.
I look at him. Oh, Jesus. Be Real says this game is unfair to Adam. Can we please can we discuss what is inappropriate behavior on a boxcar?
I was going to say Greyhound bus, but that's good too.
I could be lying. Traffic looks really great out there.
Oh,
today,
look at
gang.
you on the Greyhound. Oh, too good for Peter Pan.
All right, what else is unacceptable on an airplane according to these
All right, these
surveyed?
people are saying that these behaviors are unacceptable. What's something that someone does that's unacceptable? I have many things.
I have my number one is on here, but it's way down the list.
I would say storming the cockpit and taking over.
Yes.
Be frowned
don't
upon.
do that.
You're good at this, Fred.
Deploying a weapon. All right.
You know what? I'm going to give you a correct answer to that because not paying attention to the safety demo.
Really?
68% of the people
Good
surveyed
Lord.
said, yeah, that's not acceptable.
So they talked to 100 people who've never flown, and they see it.
You didn't tell me the average age of these people who responded was 85.
Wait. They don't even have a safety demonstration anymore.
Well, sometimes it's a video, but
Well, it's always a video.
You have to pay attention to that too. Not on
So
Frontier.
they're paying attention if the person's, oh, that's weird. So they're watching what you're watching if
That's
you're paying
right.
solid attention to the
That's
video?
right.
I call into question this. Where was this list from? Did Adam find it?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, he found it written in this. He found it in a bottle on the sand. This is from 1920. Adam's lists are known for when they're publicly polled lists. They're awful. They don't make. Should I know any of these?
There is one in particular that happens after the plane has landed that bugs me more than anything else.
Clapping. No.
Nope.
People get up and get their bags before it's their turn.
There we go.
Which is an actual thing.
And it is listed here as exiting the plane before the row in front. And that is the one thing that I've probably done on an airplane because I am Mr. Sit there, do as you're told. We're not going to do anything here. But if somebody I see they're making their way up, and it's not because they're trying to catch a connecting flight. We all have connecting flights.
Right.
You can tell it's just some jackass, and it's almost always like a younger man. Like the last time it happened, it was this kid who was probably like in his mid-20s, and he's just going to get off the plane first. I got out of my seat, and I just stood in the aisle.
Have you ever had a guy crawl? Have you ever had a guy crawl over you? Like move past you as if you're an a-hole for not standing for no reason, when there's like 20 rows ahead of you is still not off the plane, like you should be standing where there's nowhere to stand. I'm 6'2". I don't have time
like
for
somebody in the middle or window
or like
seat?
window
No, God no.
But if they said I have a connection, I wouldn't care. I don't care. As long as you're not disruptive and you're not a flight attendant singing or something. Chad, go ahead.
Freddie T, good morning.
What's up, Chad?
I was a teenager, first flight with all my family, like a Christmas vacation film. We're flying to Ireland. I'm sitting in between my grandmother and my mom, and in the middle rows, like 2 rows ahead of us, a guy was watching an erotic film on the back of the seat in front of him, plain as day for everybody to see.
Now, it was part of it was offered by the airline?
Yes, 100%. He had headphones on, but he was watching it on the flight TV. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
and I'm stuck in between my grandmother and my mom.
All right. Well, listen.
Now, erotica is acceptable. What is unacceptable is watching a movie or TV without headphones. That made the list. If you're watching something and other people can hear it.
This all sounds like they just asked people to imagine what flying was like. I told you the story when I was in college and my friend and I were flying back to Michigan, and he got super, super, super wasted and bought a Hustler when they used to sell Hustlers.
Oh, at the Hudson News?
At the Hudson News. And he started showing the Hustler to everyone on the plane.
All right.
Now, this was, of course, in the 90s. This was pre-9/11.
Yeah.
Flying in the 90s was a lot different. I used to bring on a Gatorade bottle full of vodka and orange juice and just bring it on the plane. I would bring it through security.
Mm-hmm.
I'd put it in the bag and that was what I would drink. Crash and I brought a 30 rack of beers on a plane from Phoenix back to Atlanta and just sat and had beers. I told you the flight that we were on, we got stuck in Ohio, in Cincinnati, and we were at this bar, and we were talking, and stewardess, flight attendants recognized Crash, and we were sitting there, and then when we got on the plane, there was 3 of us. Crash was one of us, but he wasn't sitting with us. We were da-da-da, and it's Crash pushing the beverage cart down the aisle. They let him have the beverage cart because they were fans of his, and we all worked at the same station.
Interesting.
Not Axel and I, but Crash is who they were fans of, not us. Yeah, and there was no rules back then. It was much more fun. Much more fun.
Now, there's something here on this list, I will only do a couple more, that applies to, I say should not apply to people sitting in the middle seat. Now, it's deemed unacceptable, but unless you're a middle seat person, I say you should be able to do what?
Spread out, take both armrests.
There you go. John Wallach finally on the board. Using both armrests is unacceptable, but the middle seat person should get both armrests. I think it should be a rule.
I don't have any use for the armrest. That's fine with me. You take whatever you want.
You just curl up.
I get in the fetal position because it's how I feel the most comfortable.
Also,
I go back to the womb.
Also making the list, getting drunk.
Why?
Leaving trash in seat back pocket upon exit of the plane.
Why would they care? Why,
Fred,
if you're flying on a plane, why would you care?
Because people care, Fred.
So the people that come back on the plane to clean the plane shouldn't
When
have
it's
to
spotless?
clean the plane?
You don't take your trash with you when you leave the plane?
No. I throw it away if the stewardess comes by.
Yeah, I know. What about one of these movies you go to? Do you take your trash out with you when you leave the movies?
Oh, sure. Absolutely. Yeah.
You don't do that, do you?
No, I don't do that.
Oh, my God. You see, this is a perfect example is if everyone...
I don't even think Adam does that.
What? You take your
They
trash?
ask you to now. Please take your trash
Adam,
with
you take your trash. Well, maybe you do. John, there's no way you take your trash out from the movies.
I don't take my trash out of the plane. I don't take my trash out of the movies.
You know,
no.
okay.
No,
both
why
of
the
you
hell?
then.
Where are you going to take your trash from the plane, by the way? If the flight attendant doesn't come by and
carrying
take
it all the way down to the bathroom.
That's
you take a
completely
right and walk
asinine.
100 yards to throw it out?
How much trash do you have?
If it's a
to
long
begin
flight,
with?
I might have an ass load of trash.
Seriously, I'm going to I'll buy a sandwich before I get on the plane.
Yeah,
and then they come and collect it toward the end.
Yeah, but that's right. But if sometimes they don't. Like a lot of times they don't. If you're flying domestic, there's a lot of times you'll never see a flight attendant.
If
I bet
everybody-
you a quarter of the time you won't see a flight attendant.
This is
in economy.
This is the Scott Zolak syndrome that you two have fallen into. If everyone behaved the way you two behave, the world wouldn't work.
How
the
would
reason why it works is because people clean up after
Would the
themselves.
downfall of society?
Wait. In all seriousness, how would the world fall apart? I just saw that.
If everyone just left their shopping carts out and didn't clean up after themselves and didn't
the shopping cart's an inconvenience for other customers. How does leaving popcorn at the movie theater affect anything?
Because
who does it affect negatively?
The movie industry.
How?
Because then they have to hire more people to go clean up.
Oh, so
after
more
everybody.
jobs is bad for America.
Fred, can I ask you a favor, please?
We got Tommy Jones here.
And then and then your ticket price goes up, and then everything else happens.
The ticket prices go down because they just said that Santa movie I saw is one of the best Christmas movies ever on TV.
Do you make your bed? Do you make your bed in a hotel room?
Oh yeah, well of course I do that. Go ahead.
So you're saying you have leftover popcorn at the end of the movie and you just leave it? That's what you're saying?
Yes, Adam.
Okay, so don't take it out of the theater, bring it in here, and give it to me. I would like the leftover popcorn, please.
Well, that and
now we're talking.
That and he's going to make.
Now we're talking.
You know what? Give it to John too, because I'm sure his wife makes popcorn garland for one of their 2 Christmas trees.
Bingo.
Or, but when you give it to John, be sure to pop it first because you can't have him eating it raw.
Oh my God, it could be deadly.
It could be deadly for him. All
Popcorn
right,
garland around the
you
tree
guys,
is a
you
great
guys
thing.
failed this test on multiple levels.
I think the list is crap. That's what I think.
John. I think this was.
I think you're a crappy person for leaving your trash on airplanes and in movie theaters. I think you're a bad person, Wallach. I
The
didn't have you
world
pegged.
wouldn't work if more people acted like
Yeah,
me.
if everyone
the
acted-
world would shut down.
And
if more people let popcorn in movie theaters.
The most hurtful thing I can say to the both of you is if everyone behaved like you, Fred, and Zolak, this is typical Zolak behavior, just leaving your trash everywhere, things would not work.
I think I don't. That doesn't mean I leave my trash everywhere. I throw things out, but in movie theaters,
I've only
there are
asked
people
you.
who
I've
are
only
there to
asked you
clean
about.
it.
I've only asked you about leaving your trash at 2 places, and the answer was yes to both of them.
So
I'm just
naturally,
gonna-
it's everywhere.
I'm going to
It's a
assume you
pattern.
leave your trash everywhere.
My carbon footprint must
Let me tell you
suck.
something else that I could clue you in on, and that is DWC, dining waste consolidation. If you're ever at a takeout place or like a Five Guys, it's not enough just to throw your stuff away. You have to consolidate it. You have to shrink it down into the smallest ball.
You know what Johnny's
possible,
luncheonette
and then
would-
throw that in the trash.
You know what Johnny's luncheonette? This is going to give Adam, take a step back because you might get a boner.
Go ahead.
Johnny's luncheonette, like actually, when you get to go, I've just seen signs for it. When you get to go food, I guess it comes in something that you bring back.
Yes.
And that they put the next takeout order
Really?
in the same to go thing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then now the world is saved.
Innovative.
If everyone did that, it would really, really move the needle.
Something it's called cardboard.
Scott Zolak, Team Fred, leave the trash.
Yeah.
There you go. You're in lockstep with Zoe.
Yes, because that's what you were to do. They if they wanted you to take the trash, they tell you to take the trash.
They do ask you to take the trash on every single flight now. Please clean up after yourself. Take anything that you've used on this flight with you.
Oh, I've never heard that.
It's because you're not listening. You're in some kind of narcotic haze from all the pills you got to pop to get on an airplane, you child.
Touche. Touche. Fair enough.
You okay, Hardy? You all right?
I'm really upset with the both of you.
I somehow will soldier on.
It's really more about the movie theater thing. They ask you in a movie theater to take your stuff with you. Don't leave it there. There's another movie coming in
All right,
2
okay,
minutes.
I'm going to ask you if you could please, for the sake of everyone, lick your keyboard at the end of every show. Now you've been asked.
What?
Do you want
Just
to say
because they ask you to do it.
John got that.
You're not an authority.
Now, who's the authority of the movie theater?
Yeah, the woman speaking on the speaker on the airplane or at the movie theater.
So if you have a microphone,
You're not the
an
boss of
authority.
me.
All right. So if you have a microphone, you're an authority. All right. Now I'm the authority. I have the microphone. I've turned yours off. All right. Well, listen, we've gone far too long. Everyone's got Thanksgiving fever. Jim Montgomery won a game last night that wasn't for the Boston Bruins. Was there silliness going on between him and the St. Louis Blues? We'll hear what he had to say about everything in just a moment.
You're listening to Touch.
For me, this decision was about people. I've always believed you align yourself with good people and people that you believe in. And for me, with Tom Stillman and the ownership group, it starts right there.
Toucher and Hardy, that was Jim Montgomery. He is now coach of the St. Louis Blues. He was unemployed for 5 days. He was fired by the Bruins. He was unemployed for 5 days. Then he took a job with the St. Louis Blues where he was an assistant coach when he was rehabbing his career after some personal problems that led to him resigning from his head coaching job before that. Obviously, it's interesting that he got the Blues job right away. It's been reported that Jim Montgomery had turned down a few contract offers from the Bruins. Obviously, he didn't get anything that was 5 years like he got with the Blues. So he probably knew he had something in his back pocket. He probably knew, I'm sure he has an agent, and a good agent will, test the waters at other places. You can do so without going. You can know someone has an interest in you. I mean, every negotiation I do. I mean, I like to have a non-illegal little base known of if anyone else would like me. I no specifics or anything, but if people are fans, so obviously Jim Montgomery would have that. But was he in the bag? Was he comfortable leaving the Bruins because he knew he had this Blues job? That's the question.
Yeah, and I think it's even more troubling to think that maybe he wasn't doing everything he could possibly do to keep his job, which includes putting the best effort out there, doing the best line combinations, this, that, and the other thing, because the sooner I'm out of here, the sooner I can go to St. Louis, which is where I really want to be anyway. I mean, it's not a huge leap to get there.
Yeah, but I think it's completely unfair. I don't think that a coach wants to lose under any circumstances. It
wasn't like he was letting the Bruins kind of coast along. How many line combinations did he try? He benched Pastrnak for a third period. He got into it with Marchand more than once.
What the Blues thing would affect was his negotiation stance with the Bruins. Like, that's what it would affect. I don't think it would affect how hard he tried as coach. But if the Bruins are offering you a 3-year deal and St. Louis is offering you a 5-year deal for more or the same amount of money, I'm taking the St. Louis deal. If I know a team is very, very into me, I'm less likely to take less than I believe I deserve, obviously.
Well, here's why I don't believe that he engaged in any of that type of behavior, because Jim Montgomery is a smart guy, and he knows that sometimes doing something as wacky as benching your best scorer in David Pastrnak or fighting with the team captain, who everybody on the team seems to like, things like that can actually have a really positive effect on the team's success. And you do things like that, sometimes that will turn around and that will turn into winning. Okay, and you'll actually change things by doing the exact opposite of what you think should be done. And he would know that.
Say you had a job in New York that was going to pay you double what you make here.
Yeah.
And you just knew the station in New York wanted you. It's a larger market. You wanted to move to New York for whatever reason. You had a year left in your contract. Would you tank the show?
No, I would. Not only would I not tank the show, but I would be really careful about saying, you know what? I'm going to do the wackiest, craziest bits I can think of because I'm going to try and get fired. You start doing that, you might have unbelievable success.
Yes, exactly.
and if Montgomery was going to do just this crazy, I'm going to change up the lines, I'm going to bench Pastrnak. Oh, careful! That might be exactly what this team needed, and you won't be let go.
And I don't think St. Louis would be wild about their new coach deliberately having the character of someone who would deliberately tank another team,
right?
To deliberately get fired. Let's all live in an adult world. I mean, there's 32 of these jobs, or 31 right now. How many? There's 31 teams because you still have one expansion team to add With Utah, that's got to make 31.
Well, no,
right?
Utah's an expansion team.
They have one more to add, though, right? It was 30. Is Utah 31, and the next
They're
one will
32.
They're 32 teams
Yeah,
now.
no,
Thank you.
Okay.
What?
I was just going to say Utah is Phoenix. It's not a new team.
Oh,
that was
that's right.
added.
It's not an expansion team. You're right. Thank you. You're right. It's Phoenix moved to Utah. I apologize. So there are 32 teams. My bad. So there are only 32 jobs. Why would you I mean, you're a character. Like, there's no way. There's no way. And Montgomery's not enough like of a hotshot coach. It's not like he's Scotty Bowman or something. It's not like he's won 100 cups. There's no way. I mean, it's fun to pontificate on, and everyone loves Jim Montgomery. Everyone on that team loved Jim Montgomery. There were reports that there were there were people in St. Louis happy when he got. I think Jim Montgomery talked about it. Where there were people in St. Louis happy when he got fired, and there were people in Boston happy when he got hired by St. Louis. You didn't hear anyone that was a writer say that he wasn't going to get another job. When it's this high level of performance and this much is demanded of you, there's no way you can actively sabotage it with your career with no consequences. First of all, you have no signed deal, so it's a little dangerous to deliberately lose your job and then go what? So you deliberately lose your job and you go to St. Louis, right? You get fired from Boston, you go to St. Louis, you go, hey, how about that 5-year deal? And they go, what 5-year deal? They go, no, a 2-year deal. That's what you get, and for less money. I mean, you didn't sign any deal with them. It's not. So they have to stay with this handshake agreement. That's not a way to do business. I got news for you. You won another job when you leave the job you have. And I'm sure it was not his intention to get fired from the Bruins. I'm sure he was frustrated with contract negotiations with the Bruins. And I'd imagine, unless he was crazy, which he's not, that he wasn't happy about being a lame duck head coach. He probably thought that they were lowballing him with contract offers. He probably knew St. Louis was interested. But if you would have asked him what his goal would have been, it would have been probably to win a Stanley Cup with Boston this year, and then maybe at that point go, screw you, I'm going to St. Louis. Like, maybe that was the dream upon dreams. But, I mean, don't you think if the team had started out, they made the playoffs and they made they offered him a deal, say halfway through the season they were like 20 games over 500 and they made him a big contract offer, don't you think he would have taken it?
Yes.
I do too.
Yes.
I mean, I think that you'd want to coach in Boston over St. Louis, and then I think you take what you have. If you're having success with a team and they offer you a lot of money, you stay with that team.
Well, I don't know. He seems very happy in St. Louis, Fred, and they covered a lot yesterday in that press conference.
You mentioned Doug is very persuasive. What was kind of his pitch to you?
The best line that put his hooks into me was when something delicious falls on my plate, I eat. So, I don't know. I guess I was a T-bone that day. Yeah.
Yeah, you just put anything on my plate and I'll eat it. You tell me what to eat.
What?
Hey, you don't sound like Eddie Money.
They did.
No. This is
Sit down and have a big old meal.
How do you want it to smell?
That's right.
How do you want it to smell? Which weed affects it. All right. What else?
Sorry.
I've already stopped. You can't do that when I say what else.
He would not get into specifics yesterday, though. He would not.
When did Army call? Like, how long after you had heard?
Yeah, honestly, God, it's been a whirlwind. The particulars, I really don't want to get into when and all that. I just want to talk about how excited I am to be a Blue, and I'm just grateful that Army did make the call.
He called me a month ago.
Interesting.
Yeah, he knew St. Louis wanted him.
Yeah, but to your original point, Fred, grow up. Of course. Yes. He knew that if he left the Bruins, he was going to have a job in St. Louis. Okay.
For the time being, yes, he did know that. Yeah.
All right.
But there's nothing guaranteed. I mean, you can have fun with it and like run all over with it, but I just don't think that's the case. What you can have fun with, though, is Michael Lombardi is a complete a psychopath. He is just so in the bag for Belichick. He's getting into it with his friends. We'll explain. And be listening tomorrow for your chance to win a pair of tickets to this Sunday's game with the Patriots and the Colts. Turn into our station here at the Sports Hub. 3 hours of pregame coverage with Chris Gasper and Jim Murray, followed by the immediate post-game coverage with Joe Murray and Leroy Irvin. Here are the headlines.
Sports Hub headlines.
Celtics wrapped up their back-to-back with another win, a blowout victory over the Clippers, 126-94 at TD Garden last night. Kristaps Porzingis, 16 points in 23 minutes in his first game of the season.
yourself in 7 words.
A guy in tights and a cape.
And Hardy with blunt honesty.
I am not known as Mr. Fun.
Toucher and Hardy continues on the Sports Hub.
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. Michael Lombardi, we have a lot of fun with, because if you're someone out there, you want a crew, right? You want people that have your back, but you don't want idiots that are so obvious that it's just disgusting and do more harm than good. That's Michael Lombardi. He's truly, in my opinion, really, really dumb. And he has some kind of weird thing with Belichick where if we had him on, literally the first thing I'd ask him is like, where would it stop with Belichick? Like, what could he ask you to do that you wouldn't do? Physically to him, anything. Would you take the next picture he wanted to take for Halloween? Maybe that's how I'd ask for the first question. Well, Michael Lombardi does. Everyone knows
Name
that.
the things you wouldn't do if Belichick asked you.
Yeah, exactly. What wouldn't you do? Like, what's the line you wouldn't cross?
I don't know. Would you kill somebody? Well, of course I would.
Yeah, right. Would you take a bullet? What if he lost both his hands? Would you service him? So the thing is that he does Mad Dog. I love Mad Dog, but Mad Dog for some reason has him on to do picks. We've explored before how his son works for the 49ers, but he was giving picks earlier and he didn't know Christian McCaffrey was out. And he started talking about it. And when he was talking about how he had heard Christian McCaffrey was playing, I was stuck in such bad traffic. I pulled up my phone, and ESPN's lead story was Christian McCaffrey was out. Well, last week they do this pick segment, and he says the line on the San Francisco game is 2, and Mad Dog goes, no, it's not. And he goes, yeah, it is. And he goes, no, it's not. And he goes, well, why would it be more than 2? And he goes, Purdy's hurt. And Lombardi didn't even know Purdy's hurt. The football expert comes on the show. Now, if you, I, or John don't know, or Felger or Maz doesn't know, or any of that, who cares?
So what? But
if Callahan comes on at 8 o'clock and then starts pontificating about a player that we all know is not playing, that's bad news. Well, Lombardi and Mad Dog got into it. Mad Dog was talking about how uncomfortable this became. Here is them talking about Boobies Magoo and his Bridgewater State guy.
Are you surprised that Peterson seems like he's survived for another week after that terrible game against Detroit? So, in other words, he's there, Peterson, for the rest of the year, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, I don't know that. I can't answer that. I mean, he could get fired on Monday when they all come back. Look, it's not going to get any better. Mac Jones, they've scored 13 points in the last 2 weeks. I mean, it's been brutal.
To be fair, Belichick drafted Mac Jones, one of the worst picks in the freaking world. He stinks, and that was the undoing of New England. He stinks. That was his pick. So you get the quarterback wrong. You
He had one good year. He took him to the playoffs, and he stinks. I don't disagree with you. But Belichick,
that was a Belichick.
He's got 6 Super Bowl trophies on his mantle. Are you kidding me?
Well, that's because of Brady. And let me ask you this, Mike.
Are you kidding me?
How many playoff wins? I hate to knock Belichick because I love him, but be fair. Without Brady, how many playoff wins does he have?
Christopher, you sound like a fan sitting in the
No, I've been doing this for 40 years, Mike. How many playoff games? Mike, give me the answer. Then we can discuss it. How many playoff wins does Bill have in 29 years of coaching without Tom Brady?
I think he's got
What's
one.
the answer? One.
He's got one. But that's such a ridiculous statement. He beat the greatest show on turf. He gave 5. They get 500 points. He holds.
I get it.
The last Super Bowl. I mean, give me a break with that logic. Oh my God, that's the dumbest narrative.
No, it's not.
Of all time. That is the dumbest narrative. You can't ask Tom Brady that question. He would tell you it's the dumbest.
Brady. And let me ask you this: does Brady have a Super Bowl? Does Brady have a?
He's got him so upset he can't shut the F up. Just shut up. I'm letting it play. If I'm not stopping it, because Lombardi is so overwhelmed with this dummy, brain-damaged defense of like a stupid guard dog.
Must defend wall. Must stand in front of wall.
Super Bowl trophies on his mantle.
Yeah, like he's such a big football expert, Michael Lombardi. He knows everything. Michael Lombardi's a big football expert. He can't get a job worth a damn in the media. He stinks at it.
My goodness.
Yeah, oh my goodness. He's an idiot. He's a fool.
That's the dumbest narrative.
Yeah, it's the dumbest narrative that Brady, the greatest quarterback of all time, would contribute a great deal to Belichick's success.
This is unbelievable.
It's asinine. It's really stupid.
Mike, we get it. Mike, we get it. You love Belichick. We understand that. Does Brady? The world listens to you. We know you love Belichick. He can do no wrong. I understand that. Did Brady win in Tampa? The answer is yes.
Yes, of course he did.
Did Belichick win without Brady? The answer is no.
It's such a lazy. Yeah, he won.
But it's accurate.
5 in Cleveland. We were 5 in Cleveland.
And he won a playoff game against New England, and that's his one playoff game back in 1995. That's a long time ago, Mike.
This is unbelievable. Oh my goodness. This is amazing.
You got to be a little. You have to be a little. And be fair. Let's be fair.
I know way more about this than I'm even letting on. This is a comedy.
I love Belichick, but facts are facts. Facts are facts.
Oh, that's
without Brady in 29 years of coaching, he's won one playoff game. You can't argue it.
Well, good media savvy, Lombardi. Announced that you have all this information that you're not even letting out. This insane information from the aughts.
What possible information could you be in possession of that would somehow help you in this argument?
And why would it be so secretive?
Like what wins and losses that didn't make it into a sports almanac?
Yeah, did he do some kind of brain surgery on Brady at some point? Like, what do you know? That flailing. I mean, you want to talk about a guy who's bad at arguing. You want to talk about wouldn't win a middle school debate contest. That's just lazy. This is just lazy. He's a child, and I should know because I behave like one frequently.
Mike, we get it.
Yeah, like it's just, but that's lazy. You're tired. I know more than you. He resorts to I know more than you, and I know things I'm not even saying. No, you don't, stupid. You're an idiot. You don't know anything. You're the worst debater of all time. You just flail around in this man's musk. What's wrong with you? What the hell is wrong with you? And if I'm Belichick, I'm like, please stop doing effing TV. Because if I'm an owner and I hear that and I go, this is who this Jim Gray and this a-hole is who he surrounds himself with.
Oh, my goodness.
And Matt Patricia, that's his brain trust. Yeah. Matt Patricia, by the way, him and Bridgewater Girl are at everything with him. They can't get enough of being at LSU games with him.
This is amazing.
Yeah, that good debate, stupid. This is amazing. You know, if you knew so much, think about it. I
know way more about this.
Yeah, you know nothing. Here's the deal, is if you knew like so much, you would go like, oh, all right, Mad Dog, here's the deal. When Brady first started, like he was completely, he was taught. So Lloyd Carr at Michigan had taught him nothing. The offense that he was in at Michigan was blah 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 blah, and Bill had to do this. Like, you know, he was playing with one hand tied behind his back. Like, you don't just announce I know more than you and I know so much more. That doesn't do anything. That means you know nothing. Because just think if that was a middle school debate. You get an F, right? And like, put it down to that. Middle school debate team, you know, Natick middle school, whatever the hell. He goes up against a 12-year-old kid in debates like that. He gets an F.
Dumbest narrative.
Yeah, it's a dumb narrative. Why? Why is it a dumb narrative, stupid?
This is unbelievable.
Why is it unbelievable, dum-dum?
Oh, my goodness.
Just expressing disgust in that you're overwhelmed with the stupidity of something doesn't prove any point, you moron.
This is a comedy.
God, I effing hate him. I hate Belichick and I hate him. Because you know what? They're dumb people walking around like they know something. Belichick can coach defense. Fantastic. You're going to tell me like the world's greatest chess player should be president? Get out of here.
Facts are fact.
Big dummy with his pictures on the beach. Oof.
Have we searched Jordan's?
Notice Patricia and Lombardi, two numbskulls. Those are the guys that he surrounds himself with.
Mike, we get it. You love Belichick. We understand that.
Yeah. And by the way, like Mad Dog.
That's the best line out of the whole thing.
Like finally, Mad Dog says it. He has him on once a week. I'd do it every week if I was Mad Dog. That's asinine. Why? It's I know more than you.
He's
what?
Got 6 Super Bowl trophies on his mantle.
Oh, really, Lombardi? What insight? What else are you hiding from us?
Oh, my goodness.
That's a guy who doesn't know what to say because he's got nothing to say. Stupid.
I know way more about this.
Yeah, go. You got outwitted by Felger and Matt, stupid. You and J.J. Redick with all your expertise. At least J.J. Redick is coaching. Dummy. Stupid Lombardi. I'll tell you what about the NFL, and this is true. If you hang around long enough and you eat enough crap, you're moving up, baby. There's a lot of really unimpressive people with very little football experience that just got in right after college and got in coffee for people that ended up very high in organizations. That you have to admit. That's not me making that up. There's a lot of very unimpressive people that have been head coaches in the NFL, not Belichick. But guys like Lombardi, like real dolts, sitting there that had positions in football. Idiots. True fools. Anyway, Callahan should be here.
Andrew Callahan.
Talk about the Patriots. Got full hour. We'll do the 2 truths and 1 lie with him. It will be a lot of fun. Everyone, I'll calm myself down. I cannot stand the guys
This
like
is
Lombardi.
amazing.
I cannot. It's such a beta, just this kissing someone's ass who's like your age. And just your whole career is based around just
don't work with
filleting this
anymore.
guy.
You haven't worked with him in a long time.
It's just like you're a flunky. You're a professional flunky.
At least Patricia was drawing a paycheck for those years.
Patricia's not nearly as bad as him. Patricia, all Lombardi does is inarticulately yell about Belichick and yell at anyone who says anything about Belichick and acts like he knows so much about football, but his son doesn't obviously talk to his son very much because he never knows when the 49ers have a major injury. He knows so much about football, he doesn't know Brock Purdy's hurt. It's on the 6 o'clock news.
Oh, my goodness.
When Purdy got hurt, you couldn't avoid it. Does he even have a phone? Stupid.
Facts are fact.
Get a better relationship with your kid and have him start telling you things that are happening in the organization instead of pay more attention to him and less on Belichick. All right, we'll be back with Andrew Callahan.
Mike, we get it. You love Belichick.
final play. Your home of the pass. 98.5. The Sports Hub. Beasley Media Group Station. Sports Hub headlines.
Last night, the Celtics both won their 6th in a row and welcome back their starting center.
Tatum. Behind the back bounce pass again. Porzingis again. The three is good. Welcome home. So Porzingis lit up the crowd in Game 1 of the Finals when he came back.
That is Sean Grandy here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Kristaps Porzingis not only started in his first game back, he scored 16 points in 23 minutes. Celtics went out and beat the LA Clippers 126-94 at TD Garden. The Green scored 51 points as a team in the second quarter of this one. They're 15-3. They're off until the game a day after Thanksgiving when they play in Chicago in the final game of pool play at the NBA Cup. Bruins will be at home tonight to play Vancouver. Ryan Johnston and Bob Beers have the pregame at 6:30 and the face-off at 7 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. As for the Patriots, the team has an interesting decision to make. The NFL yesterday removed safety and team captain Jabril Peppers from the commissioner's exempt list. He's now eligible to practice and play in games. He's got a jury trial set for January 22nd. He'll face charges of strangulation and drug possession, among other things. And last night, Baltimore beat the LA Chargers in the Harbaugh Bowl 30-23. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by the 99 Restaurants. Reunite with friends and family at the Nines the night before Thanksgiving. Enjoy full-size appetizers for $6.99 and special trivia at the bar from 2 to close. You gotta love the Nines. I'm John Wallach of Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 8:30.
Boston plays here.
Pritchard, half court. It's in the air. He got it. He did it again.
98.5 The Sports Hub. Hey, if your alarm clock sounds like this is the show for you. Toucher and Hardy, The Sports Hub.
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. We are on YouTube. You can subscribe to 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube, and then you'll have won the algorithm. And maybe it will push out something that you're getting like Andrew Huberman, which is, it's enough. And also, if you have a workout YouTube page, like, wouldn't the ideal, this is a question I'll ask the room. Andrew Callahan, the Patriots reporter columnist for the Boston Herald, joins us in studio this morning. I was thinking about this because you guys are men in your, Andrew, what are you, in your early 30s?
33.
Yeah. Early 30s, 40s, 50s, whatever. If you're like a man around these ages, do you, on your YouTube algorithm, and Instagram too, do they shove like a lot of workout stuff at you? Like,
I get some on Instagram, yeah.
Okay, what about YouTube in your algorithm? Is there any? Are you more focused on football on that?
Yeah, football for that.
Okay, so for you, for John and Hardy, do you get like a lot of workout stuff shoved at you?
I get the if you're a man of 50, do this workout 3 times a week, and you're gonna.
I get the cutting carbs guy. I get the eat this diet and it slices muscle and
So there are guys that have millions of views and that are in my. There's a bald guy who's not bad, but he's like a bald Jewish guy that's really muscular that takes a bunch of steroids. He says
Gabe Kapler.
Gabe Kaplan, actually.
Sounds handsome.
It's Gabe Kaplan.
Gabe Kapler was on Welcome Back, Kotter.
Gabe Kaplan was on Welcome Back, Kotter. Gabe Kapler was a Jewish Adonis from the Detroit Tigers that every girl that I went to high school with.
Gabe, what does it feel like to be back in Boston?
Gabe, let's be honest. All right, so if you were good at doing the videos for the working out, wouldn't you have 5 and that would be it? Like you would have 5 and then this would be like in this 5 videos. So these 5 videos say it's 2 hours of video. That's everything you need to know. There's nothing more. Like these are the amount of grams of protein. One video is this is what you eat. And then we'll go body part by body part. So I'll give you 5 videos, and that's everything. It never changes. There should, like, if some dude that's, like, doing a workout thing has 200 videos, he's obviously contradicting himself or just repeating himself.
Yeah. Only so many body parts you can work through.
Exactly, and there's only so much I think that can be done. Like if you're doing a dumbbell curl or a cable curl, like the tension on the when you're relaxing the muscle is still there, and you get that full bend in the arm. Yeah. Really, like at what point is this all starting to get a little bit too precious?
Cybex machines versus free weights. Which way do you go?
Yeah, I mean,
Very
I can understand
Yeah.
if you're a competitive, like one of the 5 competitive bodybuilders in the world.
The best shape I've been in post 30, I'll say, was a time where I think at the radio station, The Biggest Loser was like the big TV show at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And they sent us a bunch of DVDs. So whatever, if it's free DVD, I'll take one. I brought it home and I'm like, let me see what this workout is. I started doing The Biggest Loser workout video, which was like no weights. It was just all like ground stuff, get down, stretch, and I would do the whole video. And it was like 25 minutes. 5 minutes of stretching, a 15-minute workout, and then a 5-minute cool down. And that simple, stupid thing, which was designed for like big fatzos, I did probably 3-4 times a week for 3 months. Amazing. And it's just the fact that I was moving and doing something a little bit different every day, and I never changed it up. I didn't do anything else.
You were doing so many things wrong. A, you were doing cardio, which is just a huge waste
but
of
it was
time.
no.
You were not doing. You weren't in a fat burning zone, dude. You were probably way too high. You were burning carbs and protein, which is a no.
Hardy, how did you like taking instructions from a video? And that sounds condescending, but like I've tried multiple videos, small, like core stuff, and I can't help but like talk crap back to them when I'm frustrated.
Oh, not me, because
it's annoying.
I submit. I admit that I know nothing, and you know what, Andrew? If nothing else, I'm coachable.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
more coachable than me.
If you could just switch the video with German porn, and he'll do anything. I mean, he really will. He's so easily malleable. Dan, go ahead.
I am 40, trying to get in shape, 6'3". I got like a basketball player build. So I'm trying to add some more muscle. Searched one video. I've got the bald guy. I've got another guy who's actually very entertaining. But
is he the super
right.
shredded, the company starts with an A, he's got black hair? Because I get that guy a lot.
Yeah, I get
Yeah, I have him too, and he's very entertaining. And then there's the guy that's like a scientist, nutritionist. He takes it real serious.
I think,
not Huberman.
Okay, yeah,
not Huberman. But
is he in the white lab coat as he's working out?
No.
So this guy's a bald guy that's just kind of chilling, and he kind of gets a little sassy when he talks for some reason. But he's 5'2".
Yes.
So he's not very impressive.
He's an Ohio guy, yes, and he talks about the steroids he takes, and he's kind of funny. Like, out of all the guys, he's the funniest?
Yes. He's very entertaining, makes fun of himself, makes fun of other guys that flex in the mirror. But I got to say, every 4 hours, it's a new workout. You got to do this. And I'm like, wait, I just watched a video on how to do, to maximize your gains. You're doing it wrong. And I'm like, wait, it's the same thing. Every 4 hours, I just get bombarded. And you're right. It's like, nothing has changed. It's all the same information, and it's almost like clickbait. It's like, oh, you've been doing it wrong. I figured it out again, and then you click on it, and he goes, no, it's the same. So it drives me nuts.
Yeah,
but yeah, I agree. Bombarded with it.
I never look at Joe Rogan stuff, but I just looked at YouTube on my phone on the app, and there's 85 Joe Rogan videos. I never watch Joe Rogan videos, but they're like, hey,
You
white
should
guy.
be.
49-year-old white guy. 49-year-old white guy. Guess what? You're watching this and you are buying a cold plunge, whether you like it or not, because the health benefits are just, it's like doing cocaine, is what they say. Once you get out of it, it's like doing cocaine, which is, I've never done cocaine, but I mean, I got to tell you that nothing that I felt. And Alan Watts, that's another guy, this stoic. I get a ton of that stuff. I don't mind that stuff. I
just like doing cocaine, huh?
That's what my friend said. He said, it's just like doing cocaine. I said, well, people really like cocaine, so I got in the cold bath, the ice plunge, and then I got out and nothing happened.
I think the stoic stuff is a bigger grift than the working out, to be honest. Like, exercise science, sports science still evolves. The stoics are pulling stuff from the ancient Greeks and being like, hey, check me out. This is how you got to live. I'm like, this isn't new. This isn't from you.
Yeah.
Which, granted, I agree with a lot of it. I think it's a good philosophy. But these guys are now just kind of copying and pasting from tablets 3,000 years ago and making a business and a living off of it.
Yeah, that guy the guy that does that stoic stuff that everyone watches has a bookstore in West Texas. He put a book out. It was like a New York Times bestseller for like 5 years. On stoicism. No one reads. That's the thing. It's like having a hit song now. No one, or your best-selling album. It's like 5 people bought vinyl. Now all of a sudden, by the way, Mötley Crüe is putting out Dr. Feelgood in a big box. Eddie Trunk is fit to be
nice.
Eddie
Just in time for the holidays.
Eddie Trunk is fit to be tied.
Awesome. Good for them.
He does not like it. No, he loves it. Who am I kidding? I mean, because you have Dr. Feelgood as a standalone record, but you're like, what went into making it? How did Mick feel about this?
Public needs to know.
How are Nikki and Tommy in the pocket together when they're going, like, why Dr. Feelgood? How the story of a barrio kid making it big? It's almost like you took the Scarface film and made it about a Mexican guy and wrote a song. Dr. Feelgood, by the way, the only decent Mötley Crüe album. I contend that no one likes Mötley Crüe as a band. They just like the shenanigans.
That's a good take.
Thank you. Dr. Feelgood's a good album.
I mean, this is a good rock song.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. Now, I never sought it out and listened to it.
I owned it when I was a kid. It was the only. But I got Theater of Pain when Todd Anderson gave it to me when I was in 5th grade for my birthday. I threw it across the turkey cheese. I actually did. I opened it up and I went, Theater of Pain, this sucks, and I threw it. Got a big laugh. Hurt his feelings. Started a career. Right then I learned.
Only child.
Yep, exactly. Right then I learned. Wait a second. I made him feel bad, and it made all these people like me. I said, let's go.
And I got a laugh?
Yeah, and I got a laugh. I'm like, okay, that's not so hard. And a light bulb went off, and it built a life and a career.
Hey, I'm really good at insulting people and making them feel bad.
Exactly.
Let's do this for the rest of my life.
And kind of try to be funny with it a little bit, but it's very on the edge of
and
being
I can
too
work
personal.
through some stuff and get paid for it.
I'm not working through a whole lot. I'm putting a lot of negative vibe, a lot of negative energy into the. I'm aware of that. Okay. There's a point where I'm going to have to pull that back and try to correct my karma.
Sounds like you're calling yourself the Mötley Crüe of local radio hosts.
Yeah.
People don't like Fred. They just like the shenanigans.
Well, the shenanigans is everything. I mean, that's,
right.
That's
the point.
No, he and the shenanigans.
That's stating the obvious.
No, the show would be the album. The show would be Dr. Feelgood.
Yeah.
The ancillary stuff outside of the show would be the thing. So, no, that's a terrible example, Andrew. I expect more out of you.
Jesus.
All right, Andrew Callahan.
It's almost like you showed up to talk about football and nothing else. Oh, brother.
Well, listen,
I'm enjoying this.
This is a team that needs to be heavily investigated. Look, let's take a break
We're
now.
going to break down
let's break
the
down
Miami
every
game.
Yeah, right. Let's break down every play.
That's how I spent my entire Monday. So I'm.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and you get
every game.
And there was probably a point in time, no kidding, where you were like, "Why am I doing?"
Yeah. Did you ever have a
Happens a lot of Mondays.
crisis of conviction at some point during that film breakdown yesterday?
I was on 4 hours of sleep flying back from Lauderdale, and it happens around 4 o'clock every Monday. I just walk through the apartment. My wife is like, "Is it that time?" I go, "Yeah, I'm ready to be done with this." But we're professionals at the Boston Herald, Doug Hyde and I, so that film review is up.
Yeah,
all 2,500 words of it.
In all seriousness, it's an interesting team though because of all the things that are happening, and there's some rumors about stuff that you guys reported and everything else. We can get to the bottom of it. Some things that maybe people are misinterpreting, as you've said. Let's get into it right when we come back.
Stay tuned for more Toucher and Hardy on the
hits the tray.
The J. He hits the J.
Oh, and he hits the J.
And the video of that kid.
What's he say?
some-
I'm going to go crazy. What's he say before he hits the J?
All I want to do is this, and you hear a gun and a boom,
and he hits
the J. And he's talking about LeBron James, and he has LeBron James uniforms up on the wall of his farm in in the Midwest of the United States.
Yeah.
He's in a farm in Nebraska somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was annoying.
All right, Andrew Callahan is here, and he hits the J.
There's that stupid song.
Yeah, that's
Andrew
exactly
Callahan
what that is.
Is here from the Boston Herald. Okay, Andrew, let's get down to it. There was a story yesterday that some people were talking about that in the locker room after the Miami loss, there was some laughing and clowning around from the offensive side of the ball. What was your experience with that?
So I walked into the locker room almost immediately after it opens, and the locker room opens to the media about like 10, 15 minutes once the game is over. And pretty standard locker room. Quiet, not a lot of guys in there, in and out of the shower, packing up, getting ready to go. And then you look over to the offensive side. It's Mark Daniels from Mass Live wrote. Greg Bedard talked about this in the postgame show here in the Hub. And the word I used was lighter, and then the word I used after that was accepting in my tweet, being like, guys aren't as bothered after bad losses as I've seen before. And there's an important detail that I think people are overlooking, because I did see, some guys joking around, smiling, laughing. It's not a crime. But I think the detail that is missing is they were down 24-0 at half. They were down 31-0 in the early fourth quarter, start of the fourth. I think they had time to process being pissed, angry, upset. They had reached like the end of the grieving process there. Still, it struck me as unusual. So you send the tweet out, this is what I'm seeing. This is different from all the bad losses that I've covered over the last 3, 4, 5 years. And so that's why I tweeted it out and didn't make a story out of it, because it struck me. And that's what we're supposed to do. Take it inside the locker room, places you can't go, and tell you things you can't know.
So was that just the players wouldn't do that in the past, or it was unacceptable behavior?
I think Bill cast such sometimes a pall, right, with his own moods after losing, which we all know how that was. And that permeated in the locker room, right? Like the team responds, and it over time resembles the head coach, like pets do with their owners, right? In a weird way. So it's not that Mayo wasn't pissed about this. I just think there's generally a lighter culture and atmosphere, and you see that in the good times, but you also see it in the bad. And so I get why people on the outside are like, how am I more mad at home on the couch than these guys are in the locker room? To that, I would say it's a case-by-case basis, but you saw it, some of the offensive guys, some of the defensive guys. I think on the sideline sitting there in Miami is probably when they were most pissed, and it was, I just need to go home.
And you're also not in a profession where you're graded every week and there's a definitive loser and winner. Like, what people have to realize is that unless you're in a job where there is a constant measuring stick that you have to achieve, and you have to process defeat. Like, you don't have to laugh about it, but, I mean, the reason that even I, like as a fan, probably take some losses harder is because ultimately, if I'm the athlete and I can't adjust my mindset to at least accept a loss, I'm going to go crazy. It's going to affect my performance negatively.
Well, think about guys like even Kyle Duggar, who is in his 5th year now, drafted in 2020. These are the Patriots records in his season: 7-9, 10-8 with the playoff loss. 8-9, 4-13, now 3-9. All he's known is losing. He's never won in Miami. So whether it's an acceptance of just this team stinks, we know what we are, or this is all I've known since I got to the NFL. And I'm not saying he wasn't upset, but even guys that you think of as being veterans, captains like Kyle is, that's just the deal when they go down there and when they've been playing, even under Bill Belichick.
Do you believe that builds a culture? Like, do you really believe like an organization like the Jets or Cleveland are that there's just outside of the owner's behavior that there is just like a culture that can be developed and that is very hard to clean up even if you change personnel?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you see it. Like, look at the Chargers last night, right? They play the Ravens, who certainly have the best offense in the AFC, might be the best team in the AFC, down to the wire. Jim Harbaugh came in. That roster's largely the same. Everyone's going, I don't think it's much better.
It might be worse. No, they had a bunch of salary cap casualties, yeah.
But he raises the floor in a way that you saw not only there, but at Michigan and Stanford and with the 49ers with culture, which if you really want to talk about what that is, it's just habits and attitudes. What are you doing over and over and over again in a building, and how many people kind of come with you? Clearly, they weren't doing the things in L.A. under Brandon Staley they're doing now under Jim Harbaugh. Again, it's the same roster. Okay, but their habits are different. Their attitudes are different. And the Patriots are still trying to figure out what habits and attitudes kind of drive winning, because obviously they're not winning.
Okay, so we were having this debate as we do every Monday. If you're grading the coaching staff, which we won't do, but if you're thinking about what would happen in the offseason and how to improve things, you agree Drake May's development is going well, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so what's more important? I do find this interesting because if I'm a Patriots fan, this year is very exciting to me. I really, really, truly believe that. Because you've won the lottery. I mean, you've got yourself a quarterback. He can do everything. What's more important? Bringing in a new offensive coordinator who's innovative and maybe helps you score more points by scheme, or the consistency of Alex Van Pelt, who's successfully developed Drake May up to this point?
So what I would say is Drake May's development is maximum important here, because you saw what happened to a rookie quarterback, plays well his rookie year, and then has an offensive coordinator change, and that guy can't develop him. His name was Mac Jones, and his coordinator was Matt Patricia, and his quarterback's coach was Joe Judge. Bombed, gone, out of New England. What I would say, though, is you might be able to thread the needle, depending on whatever the market is, with a guy who has developed quarterbacks and is a little bit more innovative. So what's the old Chris Rock line? Like, you're only as faithful as your options. The Patriots might be no, we're bringing Alex Van Pelt back. The development's there. We hired him to be a culture guy. We hired him to develop the quarterback. He's done both those things. But Brian Daboll gets fired in New York. That's a guy who developed. He made Josh Allen over time. And the offense can kind of come and go. We've seen what it's been with the Giants. But that's a guy who they know, who they trust, and his resume is certainly better than Alex Van Pelt's. What do you do then? I personally would probably hire Brian Daboll, but I also don't know if he'll be available or want to come to New England and work for this coaching staff, knowing how things have gone so far this year.
Isn't it because Daboll, with the head coaching experience and that he was the biggest, like one of the biggest names when he was hired, do you think that's the best hire? Because if I'm Gerard Mayo now, I got a real guy in the building that could take my job. The other might part be more qualified than I am.
Well, the other part of the problem is Daboll would see this as a stopover for his next head coaching job. Who's to say, you know what? He comes here, he's the associate head coach under Gerard Mayo, and then after going through the car wash, he's gone next year, and you're on your third offensive coordinator.
That's guaranteed. If you hire Daboll, right?
He's gone in 1 year.
If you hire Daboll, he's not going to be here for multiple years.
I would think at least two, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
two.
If you watch the Giants, and we can talk about, they re-signed Daniel Jones, that was a big mistake, and let Barkley go, and you can have debates about that. But the point is the roster's not been good.
Yeah.
And so Daboll can make a case. I just don't think, short of the Matt Castle 2008 experience, which launched Josh McDaniels to Denver, that Brian Daboll gets to have the seasons he's had in New York, go somewhere else for 1 year, wash himself clean, even unless Drake May wins MVP, and then go to be a head coach. Okay, those 2 years would be important to me.
But is there a factor of Daboll? Daboll is there, and he is like kind of like even a coach in waiting. Like if you have someone in house, like for instance, if they were to fire Mayo mid-year, he'd be the interim coach, and there'd be a 50-50 shot that he keeps the job.
Right.
That is a very interesting point. I think that gets lost a lot when we talk about these things, because you think about, okay, how do the pieces fit? It's not like hiring a guy in for agency. Does he fit the system? Like Gerard is going to consider that. I think that was a dynamic he probably considered when there were discussions. Do we want Bill O'Brien coming back? A guy who's got a good relationship with the Crafts. I don't know if Bill O'Brien wanted to come back under Gerard Mayo, but either way, like not only do you need the experience and the personal relationship with some of these guys, you need to think he's not a threat to me. So I don't know if Brian Daboll would be seen as that. I don't know, again, if Brian Daboll would even take the job to be offensive coordinator for the Patriots. He might have other offers.
Would you hire him as a head coach coming up if the Giants fire him?
No.
You wouldn't?
No. I mean, did you see the comments coming out this weekend?
I mean, yeah, it's crazy. I mean, he's not taking responsibility for anything. He's got his players like running all over the place.
This wasn't the coach calling his team soft. This was the rookie receiver calling them soft. And I think Brian Burns or someone on defense did the same thing.
Yeah, and they're both like, and they're contradicting, according to Breer, because he's talking to those guys, like they're contradicting themselves. There's like half the guys that are like Daniel Jones, they screwed him over, and then half are like, he sucked. Which to me is worse than everyone just being unified.
Yeah,
like you have like everyone's. That means that like 50 guys are talking, right?
You'd rather have all 50 guys saying they screwed him over. This place sucks, as opposed to 50-50, like
I
having
think
it
so.
divided. Yeah.
Because at least I can justify the guys saying they screwed him over. He sucks that maybe he talked to like 3 guys talked. But if it's opinions all over the place, it's like
Right,
you got 25 guys talking to you?
Yeah, because
not Bert, but like,
Right.
as a total, as the media.
It's like when we had the Mac and Zappy guys in 2022. It
Yeah.
wasn't a huge locker room schism, but you had a few that were like, why are we still rolling out this kid? Like, Bailey played well. We won with him.
Yeah.
Didn't help matters.
And that was the May situation. I mean, that was part of the reason you were saying that a factor in May starting earlier is because
I never said that, but I do think there was something to it, and I heard this from people. There was just give us a spark. You know?
Right.
It wasn't like
But
there's
you would agree.
schism.
You would agree, though, as someone who covers the team, if there is a team factor in it, that like if you have a guy that the team believes is the best option and don't play him for like a length of time, that could negatively affect culture. Correct?
Yeah, we talked habits and attitudes.
Yeah.
If your attitude is I go into work and I don't have as much of a shot because my boss is making a bad decision. I don't care if you're in football or finance. Your attitude's not going to be that great. You're probably not going to work as hard.
Yeah.
All right, we have 2 stats on the lie coming up, so I wanted to make sure I asked him about Jabril Peppers.
Yeah, good job.
Who just who's just removed from the commissioner's exempt list, and I know Doug Kyte had done a lot of reporting on this as to why he was why the NFL did that. I don't know why words are hard this morning, but what is the protocol for the Patriots? I mean, he is accused of some serious things. The trial isn't until late January, so the Patriots are kind of like in a weird spot here. He's eligible to practice tomorrow. He's eligible to play on Sunday. What's the team going to do with him?
We are going to find out when Gerard Mayo talks to us, I think, in 2.5 hours here, maybe even a little bit less. They're actually going to practice today. He might see the field in a few hours, depending on whatever their decision is. And this is not only a Gerard Mayo decision, it's an Elliott Wolf decision. It's really an ownership decision because we know the Crafts don't really play in domestic violence. The deal with this is, and I would say this categorically for any NFL-related punishments, is when you try to make it make sense, it's not always going to make sense. This is an arbitrary process on their part, whether it's a commissioner's exempt list or suspensions. Just ask Tom Brady, the whole Ray Rice situation. We're going back there, but the point stands. The difference with Peppers is the league looked at this according to the reporting from Doug Kyte, and I'll just read it here. This is my new bit. I read my colleagues' work on there. The reason Jabril Peppers was removed from the commissioner's exempt list is because of the baseline suspension for a violation of the personal conduct policy involving the actions for which he was accused is 6 games. He's already missed 7. His court date is after the season. So if he's kept on this list, he would miss a total of 12 games. And they say, hey, we can still impose more discipline pending the deposition and this court date. So I think what they said is like, this is your what's the period if you get like arrested and you can't post bail and you're just in jail, right? Like this you're in holding.
Awaiting trial.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is him awaiting trial. He posted bail by virtue of sitting out 7 games and 7 game checks, and they need new information or more information, or the information they have is not enough to say, we'll sit him. I don't know which it is, but I'll go back to what I started with. It doesn't always make sense because they're not good at this. They're not good at playing cops.
Is cutting him on the table?
I would assume so, but I also would think if they had the information and the evidence to cut him, they would have done it already.
They would have cut him the first week.
Right, but sometimes this takes a little bit longer to come out. And if the attorneys involved or the private investigators the NFL has, the Patriots do, aren't able to come together and make things work or share information, you just have to wait.
Something interesting out of that should be said is that Peppers is claiming that the alleged victim asked for a $10 million settlement, and the alleged victim is denying that, which is very strange.
Well, their attorneys are, and they're saying this was the breakdown. It was never this total sum of money, and it was a certain amount of community service, and it was a certain amount of money donated to domestic violence causes. Like that number felt arbitrary and pulled out, not in a way of like, pay me to go away. That's not what happened according to the defense attorneys.
According to the defense attorneys, but
Right.
that's the way Pepper's attorneys are making it sound, is that there was like a payment to make this go away.
Well, they also claim to have video where all of this goes away, saying there's video that contradicts all these things.
And that's the danger of cutting him, because the NFL, I'm sure, does want to set a precedent of like you're just getting rid of players when there's an alleged crime, and then it turns out that they didn't do it, and you've now negatively affected someone's life because of a false accusation. Like that's a very slippery thing, and I'm sure something that the Players Association wouldn't be wild about, because if I was a player, I wouldn't want someone to have the power to just allege a crime and then me lose my job while the whole thing got taken care of, because anyone can allege anything. You know, I'm not saying this isn't true, obviously. I'm, of course, not saying that. And I'm not saying that most of these things of super high percentage aren't true. But just in the case of some that aren't, there has to be some period of, finding out what actually happened and justice being served. All right. Andrew Callahan has 2 stats and 1 lie. Wallach finally got off the schneid after many, many weeks of losing.
Pressure's off, baby.
I got to get my stat sheet.
Hardy's got standings, and he's got a slide rule and everything else. We'll be back with 2 stats and a lie with our friend Andrew Callahan.
Sports Hub headline.
to my two stats and a lie. Two of these stats are obviously the truth. One is a lie. Some imaging with this would be fun.
Yes, indeed. Andrew Callahan is here with Toucher and Hardy, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. Andrew has concocted 3 statistics, one of which is false, 2 of which are true, and there is a real opening to this segment. I don't know why we insist on playing that one.
Let's do this. It takes 2 steps from the other night. And one might see if you get it right. It takes 2 steps from the other night. And one might see if you get it right.
And don't worry, there's more coming up after.
And it does take 2 tats from the other night, as Nick said. It take 2 tats from the other night.
Listen.
Why does he get it right?
Nick's making a living. He's supporting a child.
I think he's incredibly talented.
You leave him alone. He's doing all he needs to do to get by in this world. He's one of the few middle class that, the middle class dream of buying a home and taking care of the child. It's all coming true for Nicholas.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Andrew Callahan. Very difficult in this day and age without any education.
Especially
like
for somebody who was covering his own feces and on death's door.
Yeah, I mean, it was 0 education, really. All right.
I'm celebrating you, Nick. Don't get upset.
No, Nick knows that he was in the poo. All right, Andrew Callahan, we'll tell you the story about Nick and his poo off air. You have come up with 3 statistics. What are the rankings so far, Hardy, if you have them?
Fred is at 4 and 6. I am at 4 and 7 because you were out 1 week, Fred, with the sniffles. And John Wallach, finally off the schneid. He got another win. He is at 2 and 9 after last week. Andrew, 22 and 10. He has fooled one of us 22 times. He has only been found out 10 times.
All right. So, Andrew, without further ado.
Well, actually, quick pitch.
Yeah.
Because we only have 5 or 6 left of these in the whole season. And with Wallach climbing up a little bit, I thought, why not make this interesting? Because you're familiar with fantasy football punishments, right? You finished in last.
Yeah.
You got to do something according to whatever the other guys decide.
Yeah,
and so this also applies to me. What I'm thinking is, because by pure random luck, you guys should get 33% of these, right?
Mm-hmm.
1 out of 3.
Yeah.
I should do better. I should get 66%.
Yeah.
If I fall under 66%, or any of you fall under 33%, we have to wear, on my last show here on Tuesday, a costume of the other guys choosing. That's
very visual.
Up to.
Yeah.
For the YouTube audience, you got a lot of social going on.
I think we should make John go to temple.
Or we can just open up the punishment.
That's a mistake.
Let us let it
marinate.
Let us marinate that for a while. Whoever does it has to read a racially biased script written by the other two. That's what we'll do, and then they'll get canceled, and that will be the fun thing.
See, my thought was
the writing room. If you and I could get in there, because we've got so much simmering just below the surface.
I mean, really, it's a struggle every day not to go crazy.
I was thinking Bill's Halloween costume.
Okay.
And somemone's the mermaid.
How would we
great.
find a girl?
Yeah.
I don't know how we could possibly.
Two of us might lose.
By the way, earlier when we were doing the list of unacceptable things on an airplane, somebody emailed in, said allowing your daughter to sit next to Belichick. Unacceptable on an airplane.
Yeah. She has an old soul. But I'm on Jordan's side. Listen, she's got that guy simping for her. It's nothing wrong with that. She's the boss. All right, go ahead, Andrew. What do you got?
Number 1. The last time the Colts won in Foxborough, visiting Sunday, the Sports Hub did not exist. The last time the Colts won in Foxborough, the Sports Hub did not exist.
Okay,
Number
so
2.
the Sports Hub. Okay, go ahead.
Number 2. Drake May has more turnovers than passing touchdowns. Drake May has more turnovers than passing touchdowns.
All right.
Number 3. The Patriots, after 12 games, are now the only team in the league without a 50-yard gain this season.
Huh.
The Patriots, after 12 games, are now the only team in the league without a 50-yard gain this season.
Okay.
And that's an offensive play, not
offensive play, not the 63-yard Christian Gonzalez fumble return. That would have been nice.
All right, so we were a station in 2009, and of course Peyton Manning, the great Colts Patriots rivalries. That's right in the heart of that stuff. But the Colts, but it was your schedule's based on records, so the Colts probably played here more than you think. You would go to the games. Do you remember the Colts being here a lot?
I remember the Colts beating the Patriots, but I think that was in Europe. I think that's...
Oh, and that's one of those trickeries that he'd throw in there.
I said in Foxborough, and that happened last year.
No, I know, but that would be, that would be,
that's the Andrew
that would try to get us
misdirection.
right. Yeah, that's a misdirection, and you doth protest too much.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, so
Drake made TDs things. Obviously, he's fumbled a million times.
He has, but again, 9, 10 touchdown passes. I don't know if it's that many turnovers. What's the last one? Patriots are the last team without a 50-yard gain this season?
I don't believe the Jets have a 50-yard gain.
Yeah.
But I think that a 50-yard gain in a punt return or
No, he said offense. He
said
clarified.
offense.
Well, hold on a second. What did you say, Andrew?
We just asked him to clarify, and he clarified.
No, I was thinking about the Colts thing.
Yeah. You missed the whole conversation. Now you're probably bringing it back on us, which is making you look even worse.
I think
Turkey. It's good. Watch your back on Thursday.
Shush.
Shush.
I think
Shush. Go ahead.
I think A is the truth.
Gobble.
I think the Patriots are not the last team without a 50-yard gain. As a matter of fact, I think they have one, but I'm going with 2. 2 is the lie. May has more turnovers and passing TDs.
Well, if you think the Patriots have a 50-yard gain, then that's the lie.
Patriots not the last team without one. Right? That's the question.
Yeah, if the Patriots have a 50-yard gain.
Without one, I'm saying number 2 is the lie. I have locked in my vote.
There's like 3 different ways he could trip us up on all of these things.
This is a pretty straightforward week, so let me just read
I'm going with 3. I'm going with my gut. I thought 3 was the lie. I still think 3 is the
read
lie.
Him again.
Number 1, the last time the Colts won in Foxborough, the Sports Hub did not exist. Number 2, Drake May has more turnovers than passing touchdowns. Number 3, the Patriots are the only team in the league without a 50-yard gain on offense this season.
That's the lie. Number 3 is the lie.
All right. I'm going with 2. Fred, what do you say? Where's the music?
It sounds corny because I want to go with 1, and that means we all pick different ones, which almost sounds rehearsed, and so I'm reticent to do so.
Hesitant.
Reticent isn't the part.
I like hesitant.
Reluctant.
You're the writer.
Crouched at the starting line.
I use reticent.
Say
where it should
reluctant
be
again.
reluctant
He sounded
all the time.
just like the beginning of the song. Say it again. Say reluctant.
Reluctant.
Reluctantly crouched
at the starting line. You could be the guy.
He's going the distance. Yeah. He's going for speed.
Primus and them were hit bands. All right, I'm going to go number 1. The Colts haven't won here since the Sports Hub has been around.
So we all different ones.
Because that's pretty cute.
You've been covered. We've covered
Playing
all
zone
of our
defense
bases
on
here.
me.
Yeah. Well, listen. I didn't mean to be cute. I really didn't. But I do. I don't think.
Apparently, I was.
I don't think the Jets had a 50. I don't think the Jets have a 50-yard gain. I really don't. I don't think that they have one this year.
Okay.
So I would throw them in the pot. So go ahead.
So Wallach off the schneid last week. Hardy back in the win column this week.
All right. Very good. What is the stat?
Give us the facts about the stats and the lie.
So, the Colts last won in Foxborough, November 2006, 27-20.
So I had that part right. It was a little misdirection there. Yep.
In Foxborough. I don't know. I think I said it. Maybe I'm wrong.
You did say in Foxborough.
Number 2, Drake May right now does have more turnovers than passing touchdowns.
Yeah.
He has 7 picks and 4 lost fumbles. Now, 5 fumbles, not great. But there's a lot of luck involved with recovering those fumbles. Should be 50-50. He's losing 80% of them. This number could be fixed as soon as next week. But right now, 11 turnovers, 10 passing touchdowns. The last one, the Patriots are one of 4 teams right now without a 50-yard gain on offense. I'll say this, though, in researching that stat, Antonio Gibson is the only player with a gain of longer than 40 yards on this team. A 45-yarder, we all forget, on a check down in San Francisco because it was in the second half.
Wait, which is the lie then?
The lie was the third one. They are not the only team without a 50-yard gain this season. They're one of 4.
That's how he tripped you up.
Oh.
What are you missing? You're right. You said the Jets don't have one.
Yeah.
So the Patriots are not the only team in the league without a 50-yard gain. They're one of 4 teams that don't have it.
So I should have picked that as the lie?
You should have
Yes,
picked that.
that's how this works.
But I said, I take back my vote. I talked it out.
Can't do that. Can't do that.
I should have picked 3 as the lie because I talked myself into the truth because I got jumbled in my brain.
No, it's over.
Andrew's got 2 stats. Andrew's got 2 stats. But he's got 1 lie. But he's got 1 lie. Andrew's got 2 stats. Andrew's got 2 stats. But he's got 1 lie. But he's got 1 lie.
Why did no one stop me when I was talking and go, Fred, you're saying that it's a lie?
I can't listen to everything you say.
I was protesting, so I just sat back on this.
I just update these standings here.
The Jets don't have a 50-yard gain, do they? Andrew.
Not that. I don't have the 4 teams here, but I counted 28.
Yeah, they don't
this
have
morning.
I can tell you that. All right, well, at least
Wallach 2-10.
you got to give me a half point because I was.
Why? Because you were confused?
Yeah. Yeah, that shouldn't count.
Inching closer to the potential punishment here.
Yeah, it will be something sexual. Don't worry about it. We'll make it real gay.
So that puts you at, if you were 22-10, you are now 24-11.
Mm-hmm. All right. Very good. Andrew Callahan. Read him in the Boston Herald. He covers the Patriots. We will be back. College football. Everyone's debating it. It's
sex is great, but have you ever had 4 parody songs made for you in a radio segment? God bless, Nick.
Yeah. Sex can get very repetitive, unlike this.
Buddy has just 1 lie. Andrew has 2 stats.
All right. Very, very good. We'll hear what the people calling into Paul Finebaum have to say in just a moment.
The Patriots.
Into the end zone.
Play here.
Touchdown for the Patriots. Score.
WBZ FM and HD Boston 98.5. The Sports Hub. A Beasley Media Group station. Sports Hub headlines.
Celtics made it 6 straight wins last night with an easy 126-94 victory over the LA Clippers at TD Garden. Joe Mazzulla watched Kristaps Porzingis score 16 points in 23 minutes in his first game of the season.
Yeah, it just changes the frequency of the game and just work to get baskets in a different way, especially versus the different covers. I thought the guys tonight did a great job reading the coverages. The Clippers do a great job changing matchups and coverages on the fly, and we were able to read that throughout the game and kind of get the shot that we wanted. But to have that post presence to where you can get different looks is it's important for us.
Celtics are now 15-3. They're off until Friday night when they visit Chicago in their final game of pool play at the NBA Cup. The Bruins had last night off, but fear not, they're back at work tonight at home against Vancouver. Ryan Johnston and Bob Beers have the pregame at 6:30 and the face-off at 7 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Patriots will be back at practice today. They'll also play Indianapolis and Foxborough in their final game before the much-needed bye week on Sunday. Yesterday, the NFL reinstated team captain Jabril Peppers from the commissioner's exempt list. He's now eligible to both practice this week and play this weekend. And last night, Baltimore beat the LA Chargers 30-23. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Yankee Custom. They have everything you need to outfit your truck, van, or SUV. Yankee Custom has the largest retail inventory in New England with locations across New England. Visit yankeecustomtruck.com. I'm John Wallach of Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 9:30.
Boston's best sports talk. There's an app for that. Download the Sports Hub app for loads of stuff. Absolutely free. Connect with the shows, get podcasts, and more. Get it where you get your apps. Or at 985sportshub.com.
Is elongating.
Weekday morning.
Here goes Hardy.
Toucher and Hardy.
I no longer love things.
Let's go. Let's ride.
98.5.
Like, let's roll the dice.
The Sports Hub.
Ron Kelly needs to get out of that. He needs to resign. Paul Finebaum. Yeah, huh? Hey, Paul Finebaum. I bought crabs, oysters on the grill, and halftime, I told everybody they got to leave.
Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. Watch us on YouTube, as we are not good enough to be on TV.
Hey, Paul.
Hey, Paul. As is Paul Finebaum. You know, college football is entering its last week short of the conference championships, and you have teams like Notre Dame, who have the best team they beat is the soon-to-be 4-loss Texas A&M team.
That bullcrap.
And they've lost to Northern Illinois. They have such wins against Purdue. Purdue is a team that is, what have they won? One game this season? Yes, Purdue has won one game. They beat Indiana State. So they have, Notre Dame has no wins, but yet they still, because they're Notre Dame, get to participate in all these things. But, you know, Alabama is a 3-loss team, and they're on the outside looking in of this whole situation, and that means the hillbillies that listen to Paul, it means two things. It means the hillbillies that listen to Paul are going to be super riled up, and that is the case, Hardy, is it not?
That is the case. Now, we heard Dwayne there to get things going here. Dwayne, apparently one of the regular callers into the Paul Finebaum show, so we begin with a quick call here from Dwayne.
Hey, man. What's going on, Paul? How you doing, man? Hey, Paul.
Why the because it's the hamster wheel. It's like, you know, hey, Paul, how you doing, man? Hey, Paul. Now here we go. Like I'm rocking back, and now here we go forward.
Because they're having a visit.
Yeah,
you
got to throw your weight. Like there's two introductions. You're not even really supposed to say how you doing.
Huh? Hey, man. What's going on, Paul? How you doing, man? Hey, Paul. You asked about Brian Kelly. What kind of great day? What you said earlier about?
I don't know. You tell me.
Start the car.
What you say?
Let's go.
Yeah. You know, back then you with the paint on. What'd you say? I don't know. Whatever you said is okay. How does this man function? Like, you think you call an ambulance? What's wrong? Ding boom, bing boom, boom. All right, so you're saying that we have to remove your testicles? No.
You asked about Brian Kelly. What kind of great day would you say it earlier?
All right, so Brian Kelly has a Great Dane. If I told you he said Brian Kelly
Yes.
has a Great
He's a Great Dane. That's what you said earlier.
You asked about Brian Kelly. What kind of great day would you say it earlier? About talking to Brian Kelly?
I said he's celebrating a big win.
Huh? How did that translate to celebrating a big win?
I said he's celebrating a big win.
Well, Finebaum knows how to handle these guys. All right, just very quickly, I'm going to just play what he said, and then now he's going to say he's celebrating a big win. Here we go.
You asked about Brian Kelly. What kind of great day would you say it earlier? About talking to Brian Kelly?
I said he's celebrating a big win.
And ain't no big win. He need to celebrate nothing in Baton Rouge. He need to celebrate nothing. He's losing everybody. Recruits walking away and stuff. He don't need to say, hey, he told the booster.
You know what? Why are you not giving all this money to the recruits? It sounds like you're a titan of industry. Why are you not? You're blaming the boosters.
And the recruits lose.
Recruits lose.
I mean, just because a raccoon got loose doesn't mean that everyone can't give money.
Recruits lose.
I would point the finger at Dwayne. I'd say, listen, you're a prestigious alumni. Obviously, he matriculated on campus, at least for his undergraduate degree.
Huh?
Why is he not paying one of these top prospects to come to LSU? Well, you still can. All right, it's not that funny, Dwayne. I mean, you are a captain of industry. Now, excuse me, I'll be heading into brain surgery.
He told the booster I read online today talking about he gonna open up the piggy bank. Why it took him that long to say that? Huh?
What are the chances are that this gentleman has paid with a piggy bank? Like he has actually had a transaction where a piggy bank was involved.
Yes, he went into some kind of an establishment. I don't want to say it was a rent-a-center. It was just some kind of an establishment with a piggy bank and a hammer.
And in negotiating prowess. It was
Right.
like a ghetto storage wars situation. Like, I will give you what's in this piggy bank in exchange for this item. What's in there, it's very heavy. You can test the weight itself. Ha-ha! Joke's on you, it's filled with buttons.
He gonna open up the piggy bank.
Yeah.
Well, by the way, that's a good point. I mean, he clearly was asleep last year when the portal was open.
Okay.
That was the funniest joke ever told.
I call into question that Paul Finebaum knew what was going on. I rarely call question into Paul Finebaum, but I call into question what he had going on there. All right.
All right, let's move on here. This is Larry now calling in. Larry, this is going to take some time, Fred. We're not going to be able to stop it as much because Larry has a lot to say here.
All right, here's Larry.
I'm gonna tell you something, and then you interrupt me, I'll hang up. I want to say something.
Don't worry, he ain't.
Yeah. Have you not heard the program? Have you not heard the show? He hangs up on no one.
He's rarely going to interrupt you, and he's not going to hang up on you, Larry. Don't you worry.
And we're all better for it, and that's non-sarcastic. Paul Finebaum is a legend.
Fowler and Herb Street said it. The worst call they've seen in college football, and they had no excuse for it. And Fowler and Herb Street said, hey, maybe they got some momentum. Maybe. But we don't know, do we? Because you know why? We have been dogged with death officiating. Georgia, Kirby Smart got on there and said Texas, they almost robbed us because of officiating. And I ain't saying that excuses us for losing. No, it don't. We did enough self-detonating on ourselves.
Yeah, and you would know about self-detonating. I was in a metal band in 1982, and I used to shoot fireworks out my codpiece. Made me a eunuch. We were very inspired by the stage show of Wasp. Blackly Lawless's Supergroup.
Now, my brother...
I'm just entertaining myself.
My brother's son made a potato gun. And he self-detonated.
I manufactured a cod piece and a crescendo in our final song. The cod piece would shoot a very sexualized flame, but at one point it backfired, and now I've singed my genitals.
I do like how Larry says Georgia.
Georgia. Hey. Georgia. Said I ain't helping.
Thank you, Larry.
But I'm gonna say this: that I ain't helping. And you said it. I see it.
Who's he a fan of? Which team is he a fan of? Who got screwed? Alabama? Did Alabama get screwed by the officials?
Yes,
Okay.
Yes, he is an Alabama fan.
Okay. And Alabama beat Georgia, I believe.
Earlier in the season they did, yes.
And you said it the same thing about 3 weeks ago. Officiating's terrible. Oh, now it's not. No, it's not anymore. And you fans out there, you know what? You're a dog. Why don't y'all turn in your credentials for being a fan for Bama? Because you're a bunch of, I can't even say what I like to call y'all on this air. But Paul Finebaum, you can get on there and talk all you want, but when they slap Milroe in the face mask and get a pick, when they do pass interference on 4th down, and when they call that call on in the end zone, took the touchdown back, I'm sitting there watching it. How do we do LSU? We go in there and just devastate their ass.
What the hell? What team is he rooting for? Does anyone know? I'm not positive because he just said Alabama benefited from something.
I want to say something.
Yeah, what team do you root for? What Hick school did you not go to? Let's kayfabe here. What Hick school are you rooting for that you could never sniff? What middle school dropout situation did you go to Walmart and buy and steal? I mean, what logo are you rooting for here? Because I can't understand it at all.
We go in there and just devastate their ass.
We're gonna go there and desperstate their ass.
Desperstate, yes.
You know what that means? No, neither do I. Paul, we're going to go in there and depreciate the place. And the last time I did that, I ended up with a child that was half frog. Paul, we're doing genetic experiments. Now, not so much via science, but via making love to weird stuff.
You can't with the pollywog. You'll kill it.
Well, they don't come out as a tadpole. Interesting. They come out as a full reptile child. But with the ability to speak.
We go in there and just devastate their ass.
And and that was why. And then we ended up in World War II. and the boys brought it home. The greatest generation. They deprecated all over the place.
And how do we do that and can't even stop Oklahoma? Let me tell you how. You pull your.
What team is he rooting for? Who plays Oklahoma?
This is Alabama lost to Oklahoma, so he is processing this in real time.
Okay, because
are you sure?
I have
2 days later.
I pay attention to college football. I can't say I'm a super fan, but I do pay attention, and this is even confusing for me.
I know because blown out by Oklahoma last weekend.
Yeah,
but there's a lot of discussion of what was the other team?
Georgia.
Oh, that's right.
Right.
So
originally, I thought he was a Georgia fan. But now
But then he said LSU.
Yeah, right.
Which kind of came out of nowhere, too.
Yeah, they beat LSU.
They beat LSU. They killed LSU.
Yeah,
so why is he mad at them?
I don't know.
Damn Jersey off our defense about 2 sizes. So, Paul, the only thing you've ever played is with your damn self. Roll damn tide, Jack.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
He's saying that Paul Finebaum's is the only thing he's...
Jack. And you said it. I see it. Jack. The same thing.
What you say?
I see it.
All right, so if I'm an alien and I come down and I hear that phone call and the guy said, Paul Finebaum, you never played football, and I did, the first thing I'm not letting my alien society do is play football.
The only thing you've ever played is with your damn self.
And that was to discrumpable porn, which is a whole situation.
Jack.
You got that right, Jack.
Roll damn tide,
I called the bailiff Jack, and the next thing you knew, I was held in contempt. You want $50? I got more time than money.
And how do we do that and can't even stop Oklahoma? Let me tell you how. You pull your damn jersey off our defense about 2 sizes.
Yeah.
So, Paul, the only thing you've ever played is with your damn self. Roll damn tide, Jack.
And quit all this masturbating. It's ruining your takes.
You interrupt me, I hang up.
No. Yeah, don't know. You got a free reign.
Whoa.
There is something that if this is in our country.
We're all part of that same melting pot. Us and that guy.
Like your car, if you're driving around the South, could break down, and this is all. And Dwayne and Larry are the only guys around. You might as well be in, Germany with the. I mean, there's no one. The language is indecipherable.
Huh?
Is the democracy the best way to go? In Alabama, for their endowment, a lot of these guys got to add up. I mean, it's going to take a lot of Dwaynes to equal one Amazon guy, Bezos. How many Alabama fans do you think it takes to get to Bezos? I don't think it can be done. I mean, how many trailers until you turn into a well-heeled billionaire like Phil Knight helping Oregon?
What the buyout is?
Exactly.
Right, very good.
Having all the financial.
Very good
acumen.
question.
Yeah, it's very interesting. All right, our award-winning email segment is next.
Hit the road,
Jack.
No, I got an idea for a bit. The email bit. We should do the email bit. It's a great idea. Let's do the email bit.
Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy. You can go to 985thesportshub.com and figure out how to email us. We appreciate it. Hardy gets back to everybody. He's a big fan of that, and I do my best. You can follow the show and Nicholas, who's doing a great job with the videos, at Toucher and Hardy, and you can follow me at Fred Toucher, where, John, you'll be very excited. I've hit 24,000.1 followers.
So we're over 24,100.
By a clear amount.
Okay, so
they've added the decimal.
800 and change to go.
Well, I want to get more than Kendra because I want to then see how lucrative this becomes for me.
So how
Once
much?
I reach those times, I want to get the windfall that she has received.
So how many does Kendra have? I haven't even looked.
We do this in a meeting. 20. It was someone else's idea. It wasn't even mine. It was 28,000. I think she has. Anyway, so yesterday I was
29.7.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
How do you cultivate that?
You travel a lot.
Okay. I mean, I got some work to do. I mean,
Pictures from Croatia. I mean, she's been a lot of places.
I'd have to pick up 5,000 followers. That can be done. I can sex it up. I mean, don't worry about it. I'm going to start walking around making pics like that one Lucille lady.
Can I get this going here? Because for the email bit, I have actual mail here that I want to open.
Oh,
It's a package.
There are two packages here. One of them.
One looks very dangerous. You're opening the non-dangerous one first. This looks like it was from a third party, like someone just ordered you something.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
So
That's what I'm
opening
guessing.
this one first.
Yeah, that one I'd touch.
The sweatshirt, the quarter zip.
By the
what
way,
is it?
Hardy will eat your food if you send it in. Hardy will eat listener food, including maniac women that listen to his midday show that he used to have. He will eat the food that they bring in.
Interesting.
So you could just put whatever chemical you want in his body, he will consume it through your food.
Yeah, make me stronger. This is a T-shirt that somebody designed.
Oh boy.
Let's see.
All right.
It depicts me
It's
along with a bunch of
figure out how to open a shirt first.
with a bunch of contractors, and it says Hardy's Hero.
And you know what I like about it? Adam would approve because there are men and women.
Yes.
Look at that.
It is not just. There's nothing on the back.
Women in hard hats. Why don't you throw a couple of women doctors in there
Ain't
too?
that
Why don't you throw
tough
Bigfoot
enough?
and the Easter Bunny in there too?
What a progressive chap. And you know what's progressive is me looking and seeing there were women in hard hats and commenting on it.
That is really not what. This is amazing.
Let's ask you a question, Hardy. Do you find women that would be, if say we lived in a world where women were on construction sites,
yeah,
would you be would that arouse you in any way?
Oh yeah.
It would.
Oh yeah.
You wouldn't look at it as a challenge.
Sure.
Okay. If the woman was better at craftsmanship than you would like that?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Oh sure. I got no problem with that.
Interesting. All right. Now, this is the package I would have Nick open.
Okay, so
when they come to me, I have Nick open because, after all, who cares about Nick?
We got a Rice and Elvis situation here.
Yeah. I have 2 children to his 1. There's more to lose.
If you would like, I will double check real quick. I think this person has already emailed me and said they were sending me something.
Okay.
While
you're checking that, I can tell you this. Did you know, John, while he's looking?
Yes.
That yesterday I was here. I had stuff I had to do in other rooms, and I saw Adam 12 has an office with 2 big windows that go outside, not a cubicle, an office.
Where?
An office that he's adorned. He's in it enough that he's adorned. Half of it's stuff I've given him, which is, I'm not lying.
Yeah.
Like half the stuff on the wall is stuff that I've given him that people have given me.
SSD stickers and such. It's just down the hall going the other way.
He's got like a full-on big office, and it's big, like a big one.
Like
with a desk.
I've mentioned on the show before that I have an office.
Yeah, but I mean, come on, Adam.
No.
That's
So it's like
that's asking a lot to pay attention.
I'm a program director, after all.
Half the size of this
HD
room?
doesn't
Is that
count.
where we are? About half the size of this room, Fred?
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
it's-
From the
it's not
edge of that TV, in all seriousness, like from the edge of that TV to the wall.
It's
like,
probably no, John. It's probably like a third of the size of this studio. So
I've never had anything. I had a drawer at 99X. I've never had even a desk.
And you said you didn't have a locker. We all had lockers at BCM, but you didn't get one.
I didn't really want one, and it was never an issue. Like, I'm not being a baby about it, but like I just didn't have anything to store anything in at BCN. Right. You know, like I'm not complaining.
Just rolling in with hot takes. That's all you needed.
Odyssey corrects their footing financially. I'd go back there. Don't you worry. They gotta dig themselves out of that bankruptcy and start having some cash to throw around.
The new FCC commissioner has something to say about that. I don't know if you saw that headline.
Yeah. What?
The incoming FCC commissioner is saying, "Hold on for a second, Odyssey."
What, really?
Yeah. I'll show you the article off there. Yeah.
Great.
All right, so this is from Bill. He has emailed both of us many times before.
Sure,
and the return address is Martell Power and Light.
Ooh.
I think I might have myself an actual contractor-approved T-shirt from Martell Power and Light, Plymouth and New Hampshire. It's got
and give them $10,000 worth of advertising because he gave you a T-shirt.
So that is
sorry to everyone who actually pays to advertise.
That's sharp. I like that shirt.
That's
a sharp
looking
shirt.
That's
right
going to
there.
go to Marcy there.
Oh, you're gonna put Marcy in it.
Well, I'm just.
Oh, there we go.
Give Marcy the big one and let her sleep in it, and then she'll get up like and wearily go to brush her teeth, and you can watch her walk across the room. Maybe it will reignite your marriage.
My marriage doesn't need reigniting.
Oh, everyone could use it. Let's be honest. Everyone, it's just any psychiatrist would tell you.
And why not just put her in the small one and have her sleep in the small one?
I thought you would prefer the shapeless one, the one that didn't highlight anything feminine. That's not what you would enjoy more. Am I missing? We did a whole thing about it in March. I don't know if I'm still there.
Maybe I'm evolving.
Adam, what do you do in that office? How often are you in that office a day?
I'm in that office for anywhere between 20 minutes and a half an hour before the show, and then anywhere between a half an hour and 2 hours after the show.
And doing what?
Programming the other radio station.
Now, what does that entail?
Generating music logs and switching out production and making sure that everything's all.
They really. Do you think if you stop doing that this is dead serious?
Yeah.
Because Adam's station, to our benefit, went away, and now we have Adam, who we love, and Hardy and I have been very good friends with for a very long time. It's been a great addition to the show, but now I will insult him. So you're programming something that.
Yes.
How long do you think it would take? So what happened is Adam's old station, the rock station, now is garbage, and but it's moved to something called HD radio. That was the worst marketed thing in the history of the world. They could have just called it free satellite radio.
Yeah.
They could have gone satellite radio for free. I could have done it in 10 seconds. Hey, you want because they did it to respond to satellite radio.
Yes.
So if you said, "Oh, you want to pay for satellite radio? This is satellite radio, but free.
But it's free.
And it's
Just
in your
gotta
car,
get this,
and that's all you got to do."
And give away 1,000 receivers, so you would have been all set.
Exactly, but they're so stupid that they can't do anything right. And this is just the industry as a whole, not anyone in particular. So now you're broadcasting to this HD signal.
So yes, it's on an HD signal, it's on an AM signal, and it's on an FM signal. That's a translator, which
I don't know what that means.
So a lot of AM signals would when FM got big, got translators. So basically say, okay, you can have a smaller signal so that you can simulcast on the FM dial, but it's basically
this is a lot of
no
talk
one can hear it.
Okay,
no
very
one
good.
can hear it.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to find. No one can hear it.
Which is great.
But I'm programming it.
Okay, if you stopped programming it, how long would it take for someone to say something to you in Beasley? Not like a listener.
Oh, okay.
Like how long would
those
it?
are two different.
How long would it? I'm sure there's like David and Chuck the Freak fans.
Yes, they would let me know literally the next day.
Right, and that's
die hard. Yeah.
Look, they're a great show.
Absolutely,
they've had tremendous
great
success.
people too.
Yeah, that's what you tell me.
Yep.
And so I'm not insulting anything on it. I'm just saying, given its format that it's in, how long before someone from Beasley do you think would contact you and ask what's going on?
A week minimum.
Yeah. Maybe ease off that job a little bit. I think a half an hour is a bold amount of time a day to be spending on that product.
You know me, I'm a work smart, not work hard guy. So don't worry about it.
Well, that's the way to
I'm
work.
putting the right amount of time.
I do not
I spent 3 hours listening to Paul Finebaum yesterday. That's where my time was spent.
I appreciate the time spent but working smart rather than working hard is a sign of intelligence.
Yes.
A huge sign of intelligence.
Thank you.
Because the latter, anyone who's had any success will tell you is completely ineffective. The amount of time you spend into something does not correlate necessarily to the success you will have. It's the amount of attention and the creativity that you put into what you're working on. All right, John, do you have anything to add here or what?
Yes, I have random questions here from Joe. And
all right, you took Joe's. Okay.
I took Joe's. So we have Seinfeld questions for the room. Have you ever done the Frank Costanza stop short move? Do you find it odd that Kramer wasn't in the Chinese food episode?
Okay, I have done the Frank Costanza move.
Stop short.
No, not on purpose, but I do use it as an excuse to cop a feel a lot. When I do have to break suddenly, I'll reach over and,
She's not onto that though.
Stop short.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. You do that with whom?
With my wife, Fred.
Oh. That's how he's reigniting his marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
doesn't need that other stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not going to part with any of my T-shirts here, but I do have Martell Power and Light stickers. You want one?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Fred,
no,
let's
take
get
it
to
from
this.
my hand so I know you actually took it.
All right,
there you go.
I'll display it
John?
so they get more free advertising.
Okay,
Matthew says, Fred, you ask for a half point every week and 2 stats for a lie, but this time you really deserved one. You made the argument for 3, but mistakenly said 1. Speaking of arguments, imagine Lombardi as an attorney. This is Mike Lombardi, who he played, just going off on Mad Dog without giving any kind of explanation, just blindly defending Belichick without giving any information, but then straight out saying he has a bunch of information that he's not saying about something that already happened a long time ago. It's not like something that's currently going on.
Sir, your client was seen at the scene of the crime holding a bloody knife.
That's the dumbest narrative.
No,
All right,
he was
so
there.
Attorney Mad Dog for Mr. Brady. I'll hear from you. Brady has won without Belichick. Belichick did not win without Brady. Okay, Attorney Lombardi. Oh, this is amazing. This is comedy. I know it. The court finds for Brady. Mad Dog might as well have been the guy at the end of the debate in Happy Gilmore. Mike Lombardi's an idiot. He's really an idiot. And what bothers me about him being an idiot is that he's so condescending. He's just this condescending to everyone. And
I know way more about this.
And Russo, Mad Dog, is 1,000 times more talented and smarter than him. But yet he is.
Fact's a fact.
Yeah, yes. And to enrage Mike Lombardi, all you have to do is bring up the argument that Belichick has won nothing without Brady, which is a fact, and then you ask him to counter it, and Lombardi just makes noises.
See, I think Russo knows this, but he
of course
also
he
understands that it's great radio, which is why you keep having this guy back on.
But the reason I knew about
Normal
it...
people, when you are dealing with someone like this, stop talking to that person.
Okay, because I was not emailed this and did not hear it live. The only reason I knew about this is because yesterday he had a caller referred to it, and Mike was, I think, a little pissed off at Lombardi. Because, again, Lombardi, they do a pick segment. I can't stand Lombardi, but he doesn't know anything, so it's kind of funny.
Right.
His son works for the 49ers. He made a pick one time. He said he thought McCaffrey was going to play before week 1 on a Friday. He does it on Friday before week 1. McCaffrey just started, last week? And then they're picking a game this coming week, and Lombardi makes a pick. He doesn't know Brock Purdy's out.
This is unbelievable.
All he has to know is what's going on in the NFL. For 10 minutes, all he has to know, and he doesn't even have. Does he own a computer or a phone? I mean,
what's the answer? 1.
Yeah, and so Mad Dog felt bad about correcting him, I guess. So because it made him look like a fool. Because again, you're on as a football expert. Like Mad Dog cannot know Purdy's hurt. That's fine. He's an entertainer. Yeah. But if if the purpose of you is to come on and give me inside information at the NFL, and you don't know that a starting quarterback on a Super Bowl team is injured, you're a buffoon and an ill-informed buffoon.
But how much longer will Russo deal with a condescending a-hole? Regardless of how good
I don't know why you would
is.
have him on.
Yeah.
Like at this point, like he's so unlikable. Dude, if I don't like, and I know, this is my personal life, though, like now we're talking about. This is me just driving around. Like, this isn't for the air or, like, my on-air persona. he's really aggravating. Like, he's super for real aggravating. Not
Mike, we
like,
get it. You love Belichick.
It's like
We
not
understand
funny.
it.
He's so smug and such a dick. And it's not compelling. Mad Dog has other guys on, like the Schrager kid. And he has Phil Simms on who's okay. Like, he has some guys on.
Yeah.
You know, I consume a lot of sports talk radio, and I'm telling you, Mike Lombardi's a moron. And it's not because he ever said anything that offended me. Or, like, it's not that I disagree with him. You know what I'm saying? He's not nudging me because I'm disagreeing with him, or I find his, he's just an idiot who's annoying. That's all. Like me. We can smell our own, and there's only room for one of those. And that's going to be me.
This is amazing.
Oh, Jesus Christ, that guy.
He's got 6 Super Bowl trophies on his mantle.
Oh, wow. well, that's that institutional knowledge. I mean, we're all
I know way more about this.
I feel very comfortable making fun of him on the air and not thinking that anyone thinks I'm wrong. He went on Felger and Maz, and they outsmarted him. And he worked for the Patriots, and they outsmarted him.
Oh, my goodness.
He's a moron. Boy, I can't stand that guy. But real brain trust around Belichick between him and Patricia and all these other clowns. All right, we'll be back in just a moment with the award-winning stack, and then Hardy says goodbye. Boy, I wish I was off tomorrow. I really do. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
You could come down with the sniffles.
Yeah, well, then you'd call me out. You and Zolak wouldn't let me be.
Nah, I won't be listening. I wouldn't even know.
Yes, you would. Yes, you would. You'd know. All right, and then you would say something. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. Brought to you by D'Angelo Grilled Sandwiches, freshly grilled, freakishly good. The D'Angelo Classic Steak and Cheese Savory Steak and Melty American Cheese piled high on golden brown bread. Devour one today. Of course, Dan Roach heard me saying that I wish I didn't have to work tomorrow and took it to heart that I was talking about him because everything's about Dan. He's got that kind of like passive narcissism. The victimization.
Yeah.
And you bring out the anger in him like no one else in his life. Since you accused him of having a dark side, I think the dark side he's been able to. Well, I understand that, but Dan's Mr. It's a small world after all. Happy, joy, and you are the only one in his life that is able to push that button. I'm convinced of it.
I enjoy working with Daniel Roach. It's not hard. It's not hard. All right. Dan's my guy. Michael Holley seems to be Hardy's guy.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Yes.
That's the way it goes. All right.
I like them both, but yeah, I love working with Holley.
Yeah. Well, that's just the way I see it. When you're gone, it seems like Holley. When I'm gone, it seems like Holley's here. When you're gone, Dan Roach is here. Dan Roach is my handpicked guy.
So
Rick knows it.
Okay. All right.
During the last fall, I didn't pick who was coming in. I really didn't. But if there's a thing like Rick knows I want Dan. He knows. I work with Michael Holley too. I like him.
So what's that conversation?
I like working with Dan, with Holley, with Perillo. Perillo's. You want to talk some with a dark side? Oof. You don't even have to scratch it too much. It'll come right out.
Yeah, he's probably pretty frustrated with that job.
He's just an angry guy.
Yeah,
it's nice.
There's a lot of pressure on him.
All right, so it took over a week, but apparently Jake Paul's camp has heard enough of the allegations of rigging the fight to the point now where they have released a statement. The statement reads in part, rigging a professional boxing match is a federal crime in the United States of America. It said this fight was sanctioned in the state of Texas, so it couldn't be rigged. You know what? I hadn't thought of that. If it's illegal, then you must not have done it.
Who in specific are they responding to exactly? People, quote unquote.
Well, that's how allegations that the fight was rigged that they were saying are incorrect.
From
and
who?
baseless.
Who is alleging
because this has all been created online through online. I mean, Jake Paul at one point was a 15-year-old kid dancing around making videos. I mean, this is the world where this exists. It's like an alternate universe where everyone's complaining.
But it wasn't like Chris Mannix wrote an article and said this fight is rigged.
But in the world of Jake Paul, it doesn't matter. It just is. It's
exactly
majority. Like you have to respond to everything. I got something here that you guys might like. The Ringer does good lists. I'm not going to have you guess anything. I'm just going to ask you. These are have you ever cried at a movie?
Oh yeah,
sure.
Okay, so you have. All right, because I have not. But I don't often cry. Here are what this guy terms guy cry movies. Furious 7. He says because of the
Wallach probably did.
He says because of the guy died in real life, and then they bring him back via the technology.
Hologram? Yeah, no, I didn't.
All right, I haven't seen it. Armageddon.
Oh, and I was going to bring that up as a joke. I cry every time at the end of Armageddon when the guy says, "Permission to shake the hand of the daughter of the bravest man I ever met."
I take it that guy's no longer with us.
Yes, and that guy is, spoiler alert, Bruce Willis, and he is asking permission to shake the hand of Liv Tyler, who plays Bruce Willis's daughter.
Oh, who was Steven Tyler's daughter, and Steven Tyler had a huge cocaine problem.
Permission to shake the hand of the daughter of the bravest.
Did you cry?
I started to well up the other day when I was saying this to my kids because my son is always like, "You don't cry. What makes you cry?" And I told him that line in that movie, and I started to well up as I was telling it to him.
All right, I've never seen it. Interstellar.
I just watched that. I saw it once when it came out, and then I watched it again over the course of like 3 days because it takes for frickin' ever.
Yeah, it's a 3-hour movie. It does not move quickly.
At no point did that movie make me want to cry.
This is one that I totally get. Click, the Adam Sandler film. No, I totally get it.
Really?
You've never seen it?
I've never seen all of it.
Watch it. he can fast forward through life, and he has a family, and he misses like his dad dying. It's an effective film. And
I see the one where he punches Hasselhoff in the face. I remember that.
No, he farts on him too.
Oh, farts on him too.
But
yeah.
but Click is a strangely good movie. All right, Good Will Hunting. I didn't even know that was supposed to be sad. What's supposed to be sad in that?
Maybe when they're having their big breakdown
It's
scene.
not your fault.
Will.
It's not your fault.
Yeah, I never understood that. Did you guys completely understand that the first time through?
No, and you've been through a lot of therapy. I don't understand what the I don't understand what the technique or what's going on in that scene. I've never quite understood that either. Thank you, because I always felt stupid.
I'll ask
because
my
of that.
therapist today after the show.
You're gonna miss this.
Why is that? Why is that something that really
No,
sets Matt Damon off when he keeps? Yeah, I know it's not my fault. No, really, it's not your fault. No, shut up, Sean. Not
What
for
are they
you.
even referring to?
That he was abused as a foster kid.
Yes, as he was abused, he asked for the wrench because FM. You know?
But what I don't. Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know what that is. Braveheart.
No.
Yeah.
Shawshank Redemption. Now, how is that supposed to be sad?
I think you cry tears of joy.
Okay, The Green Mile. I've never seen. Frequency.
Dennis Quaid.
Yeah.
No, I saw it. I didn't cry.
Okay, The Iron Giant is a cartoon.
A really good movie.
Terminator 2 Judgment Day.
No, stop it.
Boys in the Hood. When the guy gets shot at the end.
They pull him in on the couch, which is covered in plastic. What's to cry about? You don't even have to worry about cleaning the couch.
Okay, Field of Dreams, which I watched specifically after I had a son who was playing baseball in order to feel something, and I felt nothing. I'm not positive what's that supposed to be all about.
No.
Like ghosts come out of the corn, and then he sees his dad.
Right.
But I didn't find it, and I was like, I wanted to feel
Ray
something.
Kinsella.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, chalk one up to Prozac. Saving Private Ryan, I don't remember. I remember it's a good movie.
Very moving at the end.
Yeah.
Burn this one.
But
Burn it.
I remember it being a very good movie. But this, gentlemen, is true, not for me, but the only time my mother, up until recently, had seen my father cry in there's 77 years they've been together or whatever it is. E.T. the Extraterrestrial. My father wept at a movie, and my mother, his dad had died at that point. There had been many tragedies in his life. Someone stole all their money when he was 40, some shyster type finance guy. All this had been taken from him. But E.T. made him cry.
Other movies that make you cry, Wallach?
Brian's song always gets me.
You are
always
ancient.
Always gets me.
Okay.
Brian's song when
Yeah.
Brian Piccolo
Yeah,
dies.
I know.
At the end. Always
Birth of a
Brian's song.
Nation
Awesome movie.
gets them all hyped up.
The Day the Earth Stood Still.
Hoosiers.
My favorite.
Hoosiers. When Dennis Hopper stands up on the bed there and he's in the rehab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes
Jimmy
you cry.
Chitwood hits that last shot. Cry every single.
Adam,
time.
how often do you cry at movies?
Often.
Yeah, I would say so. I wish that they affected me. Sometimes when I'm with my daughter at the movies, I will feel a melancholy.
Yeah, but
at
then
the
you
end.
just throw all your trash on the floor and leave it there, and you laugh on your way out. So it
What, are you
balances
following
out.
me?
It balances itself out.
What I do at the end is I drop kick the popcorn. I'll buy a popcorn just to throw it around.
You might as well.
There used to be a guy that used to go to movie screenings that worked at WBCN in quotations that used to eat the trash off the floor. And it wasn't because he was poor. It was because he just liked to eat trash. No, he had like a thing about eating trash. Yeah. Do you know who I'm talking about, Adam?
I do.
He would go to the screenings, the free screenings, and then he would eat all the trash.
Every single one of them.
And it wasn't because he didn't have money. It was because there was something about eating trash that he liked.
It's a cautionary tale.
All right. The Iron Claw, by the way, is one, which was a good movie, but you kind of know what's happening going in. All right, that'll do it for us.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, Hardy.
Gobble, gobble, gobble. This is the Money Man.
All right. Yeah, have a good Thanksgiving. Enjoy your long weekend.